All right, it is July 1st, 2022. This is episode 70 of the Zenspath 4-Button Podcast. I'm your host, Jeremy Powers, and joining me this week is three people I haven't seen in a little while. So we'll start off. I'm actually sure. Yeah, I guess they would be the further off ones. We'll start with Kelly first.
Hi, everyone.
How you doing?
Good. Just started a new game called Amori yesterday, and I've been super just like stuck on it. Like I can't put it down. It's one of those games that like I think about while I'm working, and I'm like, can I get away with playing it? No.
Yeah, that one I'll be looking forward to hear about in the that part of there. But also joining us, Joie.
Hello.
Hi.
I was once a growth, and then you popped me, and now I'm slowly coming back.
You're reoccurring.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a pre-existing condition at this point. It just kind of keeps. I go through the cycles. There's a cream for it. I have to make sure when it flares up. And who does not want to follow that? Probably Rachel.
Hi, I'm here. I'm dead. Get used to it.
I haven't seen you guys in a while. It's good to have you all back. I've been hanging out with Caleb and Amon.
It's been a hot minute. Lots has happened.
You guys missed episode 69, and we actually controlled ourselves and didn't have that many jokes other than just, nice.
Nice.
Damn, nice.
Right. But we will find out what you all have been doing, which we will start off with Kelly once again, because I know you want to talk about your game. Kelly, what you been up to?
Okay, so I think the last time that I spoke with you, actually, I was just starting to play Chrono Cross, and I finally finished it. It took me way longer than I thought it would. It's a game that I really enjoy. It's really beautiful. There's a lot about it that I love, but for some reason it was just a slog for me this time. But wrapped that one up, started Amori, and it's been just a completely different, like, night and day experience of just like, I'm trying to make this one last instead of just speeding through it.
What is Amori about?
It is a like an RPG that's based off of like a very short comic series from like the early 2010s, I believe. And it's a lot of like it's a lot of nostalgia core kind of stuff, which, I mean, I know, I get it. Like, it's not, it can be a little cringe sometimes, but in this context, I don't know, something about it has just been really charming. You're a young boy exploring your memories of friendship and jumping back and forth between your memories and the current time. A lot of like emotional trauma-esque explorations. I don't know. I feel like I just said a bunch of buzzwords that make Joey just sort of like the hairs on the back of his neck like hackle up.
Is this the? It's like black and white art style, kind of almost a pencil drawing. Is it? Okay, cool. So I do know of this one.
Interesting.
That's good to hear.
Yeah, it has like a few different styles that it cycles through with the black and white, and then some very colorful ones. There's a lot of like hand drawn art in it too, which has been.
I think that was focused on for a lot of the trailers. That's what I usually think of because of it. Oh, that's cool.
And then just like tore through Shredder's Revenge with a group, and it's so good. Fun.
Oh, I've had so much fun with that one.
Yeah, beat 'em ups are like hit or miss for me, but this one, I don't know. I just had such a blast playing it with people.
Good. Yeah, that's one that I've been trying to get more of a group together to play it. I've been probably this weekend play with the kids. All right, Joey, what have you been up to? What you been playing?
Yeah, I'll piggyback off the Shredder's Revenge because we did a stream of that actually. With 6 players, and that's a mess, dude. It's so fun. It's an absolute poopy show, and I
want to get in on that.
I played it on the plane as well when I was on vacation when the game dropped, and I downloaded it like right before we left. So I played through it on the plane, and then when I got home the next day, we played it on stream, and then we also played it here locally with some friends, and that was a lot of fun. It's been fun every single time. I really need to go back and try to get the platinum for it because I'm interested in like trying the arcade mode and stuff. So it like inspired me to start reading the comics again. The
nice.
Eastman and Lard
Laird.
How do you say his name? Laird? Yeah.
Yeah, it's Eastman and Laird. I still
Laird.
have some of the original issues.
Do you have like the very first pressing
not
of them?
I've got some of the earlier color ones. I don't have any of like the original
Okay,
published black and whites because I didn't live in that area. It was locally printed.
Yeah,
but that's been a thing since the 80s when I was a kid. I've always been a big Ninja Turtle nerd.
Yeah, I remember reading the comics around 2000-ish. And I'm being like, this is so different. This is not the Turtles that I like. And then I was like, actually, this is kind of cooler because it's edgier, man. Because I was about that age, right?
Right.
But yeah, I started reading the 84 run, and I heard the IDW stuff is really good too. So I'll probably get up to there. And then we started watching the animated series because I bought that on DVD. It was like every single episode for $20, and I'm like, okay, this is probably a bootleg, but it's fine. And what else? Oh yeah, I just been playing a lot of the Capcom Fighting Collection. I never played Darkstalkers before, so I was kind of learning Sasquatch in Darkstalkers and found out that he's super S tier in that game, which is cool.
I finally was playing with Remy the other day with that one, and that's what I ended up finally holding off a lot of his characters was using Sasquatch. So when I saw your tweets, I was like, oh, he gets it.
He's Sasquatch rules, man. And I ended up getting this platinum. This is a huge grind. I don't recommend this. But yeah, it was fun. Darkstalkers is cool, man. I don't know why I never really bothered with it. It's like it was definitely trying to make like Street Fighter a more accessible thing, except like edgier. And again, we're on this edgy trend. So earlier today, I finished the Wily Wars, the Mega Man game that came out for Sega, the Sega Channel back in the day, which I actually played this back in the day. And it just came out on the Nintendo Switch Online, so I burned through that real fast. I was like, "Oh, geez, oops! No, I seem to have dropped my Switch. Oh, I just beat a Mega Man game. Oh, crap! Oh no, another 35 minutes went by. Oh no, it looks like I beat another Mega Man game. How silly of me to have accidentally beaten the third one too. Oh man. And then
I haven't beat them yet.
So yeah, since I last was on here, I've been playing through the Sonic games. A lot of the classic games I played before. And so I'm like 40 games in now, starting on the 3D games. So I think I'm going to resume Adventure 1 DX tomorrow and see how that goes.
I love DX. I have such fond memories of DX playing it on the GameCube.
It's fun, but that game is like a mess.
Oh yeah,
that game is such a mess.
The jump physics, but it's charming, and
it's fun.
I still think to this day that Sega could make absolute bank if they just did a Chow Garden game.
Mm-hmm. I'm surprised. Well, they got like a mobile/Java versions, but yeah, not like a standalone thing.
I've tried to get the like Chow Garden to run on but no dice. So
in the future, that could have been a cool thing with Origins. But yeah, I went through Origins as well, Sonic Origins, and destroyed. I literally just sat down, beat all the games on it, and got mad at all of them. Yeah, and then that was it.
Now you said you're doing the 2D ones as well, or you're just doing 3D right now?
I did all the 2D ones.
Did you do the one Rush on Neo Geo?
Yeah, the Sonic the Hedgehog Pocket.
Yeah.
It's basically like a 75% remake of Sonic 2.
It is. I have that one, but it was really fun to play that one. I just didn't know if you had access to that one to play it or not.
I have the internet.
Oh, fair enough. I've been on hardware, but yeah, I knew that version I don't have available.
That's a Neo Geo. That's no, I don't have one.
It worked really well with that actual the button, the joystick it had, because that thing was made for like fighting games and stuff like that. So it was really nice having an actual analog stick to play it. It kind of helped show off that game some.
I just play with this guy, man.
Fair enough.
That guy, that's a guy.
It's the guy.
The guy.
The guy.
And yeah, that's sorry. It's been a while since I've been on here. So
Oh, no,
there's
you're fine.
a couple things that I had played since then.
All right. Well, we'll go ahead and finish up with you guys with Rachel. What you've been playing or what you've been doing?
I'll be honest, I haven't been playing a lot of video games. Every now and then I'll pick up Xenoblade, the first one, because I'm trying to play through and prepare myself for the third.
Are you going to finish it before Caleb ever does?
I mean, I'll probably finish it before he does.
I'm shocked I finished it before he did.
I'm sure I will. So I finished the first one like ages ago, right?
Right.
Like years ago when it first came out. I blew through the entire thing when it was originally on the Wii.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember getting it at my GameStop that I ended up working at not too long after. And I haven't beat it since. And I was just like, I'm gonna replay it and prepare myself for the third game. But you know what I'm not gonna finish? I might finish the first one by then, but the second one, absolutely not. Nope, not gonna happen. Am I gonna buy the third one probably at launch? Yeah. But when am I gonna get to it? Who the hell knows? Yeah, so that could be fun. But I did recently, just like a couple days ago, turn on my PS5 and browse through all the new PlayStation Plus stuff. So it's not bad. It needs a little shaping, little tweaking, I think. But overall, it's a good selection, I think. So
nice. Yeah, I was glad they did get their act together and put the 60 hertz US versions in, and they are finally going back and giving the option for either 50 hertz for other countries, or you can play the 60 hertz for people that have modern TVs. So they're learning. Like, I was really worried they were going to do another PlayStation, mini. I was like, don't do that. Don't do that.
It is nice to just kind of dick around in a lot of the games that they have on there, because I'm like, oh, I've never played this before. Oh, I remember seeing this on the shelf way back in the day. So it's kind of nice to kind of reacclimate myself with like those games that I once saw and maybe played like one time because I rented it or something. But it's got a very interesting selection, and it'll continue to grow. And sometimes things will be on there for a limited period, so it's got a nice kind of adaptable amount of games. So that's nice. But other than that, I've been really busy. I got a promotion at work, so that's great, which will give me more time to do games and stuff like that. But until then, until I, get acclimated at work, I'm just like, I get home and I'm like, I'm just going to just completely zone out and watch either something on television or read. But I was scrolling through our next bits and stuff that we're going to talk about. I'm like, oh, I didn't know they had a demo available for that on the Switch. I'm going to download that and like get off here. So that's great. And there's stuff I'm excited to talk about, but like, yeah. So
we'll get to that shortly. So I'll go into mine real quick. Also, if you can hear a lawnmower, it's 8:30 at night, and for some reason, my neighbor decided to crank up a lawnmower right there.
Well,
and I don't know why.
I just love the smell of grass. I needed to sleep.
Welcome to Florida, everyone, where people do weird things at weird times.
It's dark outside. Yeah.
He don't know that. He don't understand.
I guarantee he knows. I just don't know why.
He just don't care. That's what it is.
So, I'm still been playing Minecraft a bunch. I've been running the server with Brent. That if anybody else wants to join, let us know. We can have up to 11 people on there, but so far we've had 2. Nobody seems to want to play.
I don't play Minecraft. So
it's been a lot of fun though. Like, we actually like the point of exploring, and since a lot of the updates, there's a lot of new mechanics and other things that have been added. The actual world design's gotten a lot better. Like, a lot of the stuff is improved greatly. Everyone's thinking it's like the old way it was, but
the art style just weirds me out, so that's why I don't play it.
Well, you can change a lot of that now too, which is kind of cool. Though some of the realistic skins that people have made, I saw the cows and I was like, no, that's terrifying looking. It's like realistic but a block. No.
I can't do that either. So that'd be terrifying.
It looks like you took an actual cow. It's like that cartoon thing. You just like slammed its face into a wall and then just left it there.
0 out of 10. Do not recommend.
Yeah, don't hit a cow. It's bad. The other thing I've been playing, this is kind of a different one. honestly would not have ever bought this except for my son bought it for me for Father's Day.
I know this was you telling me about this.
Oh, he did tell you about this beforehand?
Yeah.
Because I looked at it, I was like, well, that's okay. Didn't expect this. It was Stranger of Paradise Final Fantasy Origin. So I downloaded this. He got it for me digitally, which I didn't tell him I actually found a physical copy later, but it's worked out digitally on my Xbox, my Series S and my Series X. I start playing it and I'm like, okay, this is a weird one. And it starts going into the whole speech at the beginning about like the warriors and the crystal. And I just kind of stopped, opened my door for my room and went, is this a remake of Final Fantasy 1? And he's like, yeah. Okay.
Play the game.
I am. I've actually really been liking it.
I played the game.
And then address that comment. We will address that comment.
Okay. I figured, when I say remake, I figured this is how Square can't actually remake their games. They have to change a bunch of stuff. So I'm figuring it's going to be that. Rachel just gave me some side eye. Even the way the resolution is during streaming, I saw that look. I'm just not again.
Here we go.
I'm liking it though. It's a lot of fun. I actually do really like it. After that, I watched Umbrella Academy season 3, which I did finish, which was really good. I'm now waiting for season 4, but I'm not going to spoil anything. Does anybody else actually watch that show other than me?
No, I tried watching the first season. I'm not a fan.
I dropped on like the 3rd episode of season 1. It didn't grab me. But you have reminded me of something I did watch that I will talk about when you're done talking. So.
Oh, okay. And lastly, I also was playing Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge, like Kelly had mentioned and Joey had mentioned. That game just hit every button. Like, I just had so much fun playing it. The little animation jokes. I was purposely throwing every character down holes and into things to see what details and throwbacks to the original game they had. I've played Donatello. I've already maxed him out. Everybody else is like level 1, level 2. Donnie's straight up maxed at 10. Because that's immediately where I go when I play Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, Donnie's always my go-to too, but he's not as good in this one, and I think that's intentional because they know he's always broken.
Yeah, I didn't have a problem with him, but I'm sure some of the other ones.
Good. Every character is good, but like comparatively to like Turtles in Time or even the GBA games, like it just bad. You know what? It's not necessarily that Donnie's bad because he's not bad. It's that there's balance now. So that's really where it's at.
Well, if you have 6 people, you don't want one overpowering everybody else, So it's kind of a switch up. Now, I do love the little details of Mikey's animations because he has, I think, the goofiest of all of them. Mm-hmm. Especially when you get him into a full run and he's just like waving his arms as he's running along. So it was nice hearing the original voice cast, all the living ones that they could get, obviously. But all 4 of the Turtles are still alive. So all of them from the original 80s and 90s cartoon are back, which was great.
It sounded like Rob Paulson's voice was just from clips. I could be wrong about this, but
they did all come back and re-record it.
Interesting. Yeah, because if you listen to the fidelity on his lines, especially, I noticed this especially on Switch because I was playing with headphones. Okay. But like, it just so much more distorted and low res, and it's not just like I recorded this at home with home recording equipment. It just sounds like it was copy pasted from the 80s.
It was a vibe. He was trying to cultivate that.
Yeah. He ran that shit through like a bit crusher on like a compact Presario. Hell yeah.
Presarios. Forgot about those. Yeah, I have this. I'm getting the physical copy on Switch, so that's not coming out till later. I got that through limited run. And then I ended up getting the digital copy. Say what?
Speaking of which, I forgot to order mine.
It's still available. Okay. But I got the digital copy on Xbox. Mostly because I was looking at it. It's like, let me see what this is. And Microsoft's like, hey, we have a $10 off thing for you. I was like, $12? I'm in. I just got it. And we've been playing it because it's kind of nice. It gave it to me on all my Xboxes as well as my laptop. So I've been quietly at work during lunch, plugging in my Switch controller and playing Ninja Turtles on my laptop. Same game save. So that's been kind of fun.
Yeah, I bought this game an embarrassing number of times, and I'm about to buy it for an embarrassing price.
Oh, I'm gonna buy the game. I'm not gonna get the big collector's editions. I I wasn't really happy with all the stuff they had in those for the cost of it, so I'm going to stick to just the standard one. But I am going to get the vinyl albums because the music in this game I thought has been fantastic. I don't know what your thoughts on that has been for any of that.
I have something actually about that
Okay,
I
go for
can
it.
tell you about after the show because I don't know if I want to
Oh,
spoil it
okay.
on the show. So we'll see what happens. But
Okay.
it's very positive. I'll say that
Okay.
much.
So you enjoyed the music, Kelly. What about you? Like,
Yeah, I was so impressed with the sound of it, the look of it, the even just like the feel of going through it. I played I played April for most of the go through because growing up in the like 80s 90s, she was my girl. That's who I got to play during the Ninja Turtles like games that we would play. But it was nice because she felt really like, to your point earlier, really balanced. It didn't feel like I was playing catch up with her, and her special was so fun. It just felt so good to use the special.
She's like the
And
best character in that game, I swear.
well, it's fun to
yeah,
use her. It was like
So
a
good.
camera as a hammer. Like you just go swinging it around.
oh my god, the down special or whatever it is, yeah. um, and I don't know, like the elements of teamwork, the way that everything came together was so satisfying. Like when everybody gets their like special off, like in the right order, like almost immediately, almost all together, and you just like destroy everything on the screen, and like the bosses fall in like 20 seconds. It's I don't know. There's just something I don't know, delightful about that.
Yeah, I've seen her taunt when she just any comment, and then of course Donatello's taunt I saw all the time, which I loved because he'll just kind of crouch down playing a Game Boy, kind of look like you're looking at him, and then keep playing for a second. I need to go back and see the other one's taunts
Oh my gosh.
because
The
April's the
Oh,
other one.
you hear him, dude. I hear him so much because the taunt is broken in that game. It's absolutely busted.
Oh yeah,
It like
charges.
trivializes the game, and it's
Yeah.
like you hear the same taunt over and over again. It's like Donnie be playing that Game Boy forever. I'll say that much.
Yeah, they could have done some stuff to kind of mix those up because a couple random ones would have been funny. It
Yeah,
was
that
stale, but
game,
like
it has like my pet peeve of repeating a voice. This is Rachel. This should be relative to you from having played Xenoblade recently, having to hear the same voice line over and over and over and over again. Like, ooh boy.
I'm really feeling it.
I'm really feeling it. I'm getting pumped up.
I'm finally glad Jeremy stopped saying that constantly, and now he'll say it again. Now that I've said this, I've damned myself.
But yeah, no, that game rules. It's a lot of fun. Really recommend playing it with 6 people just to see how much of an absolute shit show it is. Whoops. But
Oh, you're fine.
um yep. I was gonna
It's
say something else about it and I totally forgot. So
Mm.
I think it was the Xenoblade in me. I need the Monado site.
Monado.
Now that's a drinking game.
not in this house. Somebody would die.
Oh yeah, everyone would
As much
die.
as it's brought up.
Yeah.
Lord. All right. Well, we're going to jump into a different segment this week. We're not really having a roundtable because we have a bunch of other stuff to talk about. But the three of you were not here last show, which, as fun as it was, we had a lot of stuff to cover. It was kind of like a mini E3 with everything that was going on. So I was going to give you guys some time if there was any particular games or topics you wanted to bring up and mention that happened previously, be it from the Sony, the Microsoft, the Capcom, whatever Square said, and some other stuff from those
Yeah, Square
events.
didn't really say a whole lot, honestly.
They didn't. I mean,
apart from the big guns, and Capcom stuff all leaked, and so like we kind of all know what to expect by now.
right.
Unfortunately, but I mean, I think I'm just gonna speak for all three of us and just say FF16, right?
Oh, that
Is
was
that
good.
fair?
I mean,
Yeah.
that was good. I have to go through the trailer again and really like examine stuff and nitpick it because that's the next numbered title in the series. And I think all of you know that the 15 is and will always be my baby. So
no kidding.
yeah.
Good game though. Good game.
Very, very much so. So I'm interested to see how different it is, and some of the stuff that they've talked about with 16 is I was like, wait a minute, not open world. Okay, so I guess there's going to be sections of exploration, kind of like maybe the 7 remake is, where it's got a lot of areas to go through, but it's not. It's still linear at the same time. So it's got sections where you have like a lot of side quests and a lot of things to do, but it's not that absolutely massive world that we had to deal with in 15, though I did love it. So I'm kind of interested in that more streamlined experience, because I know, as an adult, I don't always have a lot of time on my hands. So I really like single player games, but at the same time, trudging through a huge open world game can be a bit daunting, unless they have a really good way of tracking where you've been and what you've done. That's one of the reasons why I loved the Dragon Quest game that came out, was every time you booted it up, it told you, this is what you've done, this is what you are doing, and this is where you're supposed to go next. And I'm like, beautiful. Please make this a thing in all games from now on.
Yeah, seriously.
But
I wonder if Square kind of learned a little bit of a lesson from 15, because as much fun as it was, they were constrained by that open world, and it didn't really get cleaned up and run better until they had better hardware to put it on.
There's an open world in 15? No, I'm serious. I thought it was just like a big ass empty playground that was just there for quest markers. I didn't know.
I thought it was just mostly just for the roads they could show the car off.
Oh, I mean, it's
really big enemies. Yeah.
There's big sections of exploration, but like, yeah.
Go ahead, Kelly.
Oh, I was just going to say, it's just like the ultimate iteration of like the Windows Media Player experience for the Final Fantasy soundtracks.
You are correct.
Honestly, yeah.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Kelly, I think I told you this when I was playing it, but so when Grand Theft Auto for the Xbox came out, they had an option where you can listen to the soundtracks you've downloaded on your Xbox, your custom music, like from the radio. And I would just drive, steal a car and just drive to Godspeed You Black Emperor for like an hour, and then just toss my car into the ocean and slowly die.
That's some angst.
I kind of felt like doing that. Yeah, I kind of felt like doing that with 15. Unfortunately, I had to take 3 other people with me if I did it. But like,
I mean, if you got that upgrade where you could make the car fly, you could make it like crash and explode, basically. And the animation for it was
that's true. Yeah,
the sound of the characters just absolutely wailing. They're wailing, but they're also kind of laughing at the same time.
Be careful how you answer. Be careful how you answer that, Joey. You may be on a watch list if you.
I'm already on a watch list. But I've been playing Sonic games. Of course, I'm on a watch list.
But
I'm not allowed to step within like a block and a half of schools because of this. Once I finish this playthrough, it'll be different. But like right now, in the throes of Sonic gameplay, that's just what people associate with me, and there's nothing I can do about it.
To add to more of the Square Enix stuff that was like announced, how about that Buster Sword digital clock that they dropped?
$200.
$200. It looks
how much?
It's $200. It looks really cool.
It looked like one of those alarm clocks you find in the toy section.
Like, I know.
Final Fantasy figures. Here's that alarm clock. I was
it looked cool, but at the same time, I'm like, well, I would never buy that.
I'll just 3D print you that and wire in a clock. I can.
Okay. All right. There you go.
I get it's cool, but I did not realize that thing was $200.
Yeah. I think it's all the lights on it that make it that expensive. But they announced some it was just merch stuff that was the weirdest part of the announcement. And Integrate is out on Steam now. If nobody had a chance to play that, First Soldier, which I don't care about, but it's on its third season.
Oh yeah.
And then I feel like it just came out and it's already on its third season. Like how are they measuring this?
Dollars.
I guess, yeah. And then, Ever Crisis, actually, it actually looks good. It's a recap of the whole 7 anthology. And I think they're doing some interesting additions to maybe stories that they wanted to tell, that they just couldn't fit into the original, like, anthology, like, compilation, like,
Is
plans.
it bad? I thought at first watching that they had just kind of gone along. I thought they were answering a joke that people were talking about with Final Fantasy VII Remake about how it kind of veered off and stuff. And they're like, "Oh, you want it more like the original?" And that's what they were doing. I was like,
Well, that is kind of what
Yeah, that is kind
it took me a minute to realize it was a real game and not them just like making a joke to put it in the video. I was like, oh no, this is real.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's supposed to function as like a interstitial storytelling, like encyclopedia.
Yeah.
Like you don't have to go back and play FF07 OG, or you can just rehash it or
It's
refresh it.
It's a good way to introduce people to the compilation that don't want to go back and play the original, since even though I love the original, I understand how it can be very difficult for people to play, just because of how the game looks. Like, some people cannot play older games because they can't do it because of how they look. They're older. They've got these, blocky polygonal models, and it bothers some people. And I understand that. Will I always play that? Probably, because it's a good game. But I like the opportunity that Ever Crisis kind of gives for the community to experience the game. And there's a closed beta later this year, so that's neat. And then, of course, at the end of it, they did the big guns, which lost my absolute mind at Crisis Core.
I was happy about that one.
I was so happy about it. But I think they're going to be slightly changing the story a little bit, to make it fit with
Square making a remake and changing something randomly.
Well, it's not even.
To be fair, it's not a remake. It's like a remaster.
It's
with like a different UI.
Yeah,
which I get.
And
yeah,
I really hope that they clean up the combat a little bit, because I remember playing the original and it just was like very blocky, robotic, and slow.
I mean, it was made for a PSP, so
yeah,
they did what they could.
They did indeed. And the like slot machine gotcha kind of thing that was part of the combat was interesting, which they're keeping. But I hope they explain that a little bit better about how that works.
I hate that so much. I hate it so much.
It's been so long since I played that. I'm like, I need to go back and remember that one.
Well, the interesting thing, well, I don't want to I mean, it's an old game. I can spoil it. At the end, when it's going through he's battling, he's essentially fighting a fight he cannot win. He's completely outnumbered. But as you go through, and people on the slot machine, because as you grow closer to all of your different friends and colleagues and stuff throughout the game, they appear on the little slot machine thing in combat, and if you match them all up, you get these certain bonuses and moves throughout whatever fights that you're in. But at the end of the game, as you are dying, you lose the people on the slot machine because he's dying. So I thought that was kind of interesting how they did that. And then, of course, at the end of it, they revealed the second part of the whole remake thing that they got going on, which is called Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, which I was like, okay, so they did remake, rebirth. What's next? What's your predictions, guys? What do you think they're going to call this next one?
Reefer Madness.
Joseph.
I mean, they can't use
really need the money.
They can't use Reunion now because the Crisis Core has used that. So,
yeah, I don't think it would stop them from reusing the name, but you never know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Have
I'm
any
so
actually good guesses for this? Relapse, maybe.
Yeah, I was thinking like a revolution or rebellion, but like I don't feel like those really fit either.
I was thinking like I thought rewind would be interesting because they're trying to, they're still trying to change their fate, kind of.
Actually, in that theme, I know I'm not trying to make a bad joke, but like reject would almost fit for that, just because they're rejecting where the way that goes to try and go back to, like if they looped around the story
that's a
back to the
big theme
original.
in the first game too, like rejection of like the fate that you have laid out in front of you, whatever. It was just very Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
There were some really good like suggestions that like popped up for it on Twitter, and I'm completely blanking out of all the things that I said, because that's just that's been my week. But I was very very excited to see all of this, and that coupled with 16 and all the other things that have been announced in the last I don't even know how many weeks now. Time is a construct, but it's just
Time never ends.
Yeah, it's just it's going to be a very good year from now until this time the same time next year. So there's a lot that's coming out, like a lot.
So Kelly has never played Crisis Core, and I've purposely gone this long without telling her about the slot machine thing. And I can't like just the mechanic in general, because if I told her that game had that mechanic, I don't think she'd ever play it.
So it's not even it's something that you have no control over whatsoever. There's no buttons that you press to do it. It just does it on its own.
Interesting.
So it's
unlimited Saga shit.
Yeah,
except
that's literally what I was thinking. I was like, how Unlimited Saga-esque is this?
yeah. No, it's so intrusive. It is so unbelievably intrusive. It's like, oh, you're about to like dodge this attack and then hit the boss and then just nope. Here you go. Now you gotta play some pachinko, baby. Let's get in.
Basically, but
man, it's like Crisis Core. That was kind of one of the first things where I was like, okay, I don't know if I like Final Fantasy anymore, and like I don't hate that game. I actually kind of like it, but like I am stoked that it's getting a remaster to fix some of its issues, and I'm stoked that people get to play it because
and the story was so good.
You ruined it on PSP because you can't even buy it on the Vita store.
So there was some
made it digital.
There was some licensure stuff with that, and
the stuff.
Well, it's not complete. There was other factors, and it's not necessarily his fault, but I think part of it was Square didn't want to pay the royalties to him to put it on all of the different digital storefronts. I think that was the big kicker. I think it was a combination of those things. So, but hey, he's returning for the Japanese cast, so. Obviously, it was fine now, which I'm glad he is, because the man has been on hiatus from touring for the better part of a year and a half due to some neurological thing that he's got going on. So I was just like, man, the man probably needs the money. So yeah. So who knows? But I'm excited for it. I'm excited for quite a few things coming out this year. My wallet's gonna scream at me, I'm sure. Thank God I got this promotion, I suppose.
But yeah,
there you go. Go ahead, Kelly.
Rachel, you mentioned earlier even that like having these games like remastered or remade is allowing people to experience them in a way that they haven't before. And I really am stoked to play Crisis Core for the first time with this kind of version and not having to like drag myself through the original kind of like I guess like play.
It's going to play a lot better, and it's going to be more accessible.
Oh, yeah.
And that's the most important thing, because I still have my copy for PSP, and no lie, I wanted to stream it, and I got a cable to make, to put my PSP on my TV.
Oh no.
I know, because I wanted to play it like that. I didn't want to emulate it. I didn't want to do that, because I was like, it squicks me out having to play a game that is on handheld using my keyboard or trying to map it to my PS4, PS5 controller, or whatever. And I was like, let's just do this. And it was not successful.
Yeah, I'll have to show you how I have mine set up, because I actually have my PSP out because I've been working on trying to record some more stuff because I use a RetroTink 5X that came out fairly recently, and they added in a mode specifically for the PSP, which is even better than what the OSSC used to do. So I can properly scale it. It looks a lot better the way it actually does. It doesn't have any of the drop frames, and it frames it properly. It gives it a little bit of a windowed look, but it actually fits it in there as it needs to for the scaling. Yeah. So Crisis Core is one of the games I was going to do the opening recording and stuff like that. I'll grab some more footage so maybe Kelly can see what we're talking about with this. As Joey puts it, pachinko stuff.
But the one thing I hope it does, retain, and I won't spoil too much for you, but it's got to retain the shampoo lore for Sephiroth and the rest of the team. That's the most important thing. His luxurious hair. So, and how he maintains it.
God, the more I think about Crisis Core, the more I dislike it. I want to keep it, in the words of Sephiroth himself, I want to keep it in my memory and just there. I don't want to think about it. I don't want to have to relive it.
It's got so much going on in like the background of the game. Like you get these random emails that you have to like read
you literally get blown 3 a.m. you up texts.
And it's funny. Yeah, it's funny as heck. The emails and the texts are the funniest part of the damn game. No lie.
The early 2000s, text messaging life back then.
Yeah. But the world itself is very bare. So I'm hoping that they add some accoutrement into that to make it a little less.
After listening to you all talk about it, if I don't get to play like a rhythm game, Sephiroth, like hair maintenance, like mini game, I'm going to be
that's in Rebirth.
Sad.
Yeah, please tweet Square Enix about that, because I mean
they're changing the Nibelheim sequence too in Rebirth. It's just going to be like the Honeybee Inn.
Exactly, but with like hair
Sephiroth,
maintenance.
Yeah. A shower scene, I guess. I don't know.
Everybody live it.
It's Final Fantasy's hot springs.
It's gonna be tasteful like side butt.
I mean, to the game's credit, like we all know, I'm not the biggest fan of Final Fantasy VII. I'm not exactly quiet about that, to Rachel's annoyance. But Crisis Core, I did really enjoy. I got it on the PSP, played it a lot, and actually had some fun with it. Not the best game in the world, but it was enjoyable. I found it more interesting, at least. I still have like some of the Shenmue PSP game cases you could get that came with it that were like pre-order stuff. I still have a couple of those. From that look, Rachel, do you still need one? Okay. I still have a bunch of the Shenmue stuff they had from back then. I will get those together and send them to you.
I love you.
I'm still going to talk crap about Final Fantasy VII, but I'll send you some good stuff.
Yeah, I love all the old Shinra stuff, because I was looking at that the other day because I was going to get a new case for my phone, and I know they had the Square Shinra cases on Square's website, and they weren't like badly priced, but of course they're out of the size that my phone is. But I need to get a new phone anyway, so hopefully they have sizes for even newer ones. So crisis averted.
Find me later and I'll dig that out.
Crisis Core averted.
Ooh, yes, I'm excited.
All right, so before we move on, is there any other games from the other events, because there was more than just Square, that happened the last couple of weeks that either any of y'all want to bring up or talk about? Or do y'all just want to move on?
I think we should probably just move on. There's a lot of stuff I'm thinking about.
We can still do the little extra episode, Joey. If you want to deep dive into that stuff, I'm down. We could do it.
Yeah, whatever, man. Just let me know.
Yeah, we don't care if we're late. We don't care. We just don't. All right, so we're gonna say what?
I said it's a Friday.
I didn't mean late today. I just meant late because we're like a couple of weeks past the shows.
Actually, I have one little brief thing, because I mentioned Unlimited Saga. They're doing the remaster of Romancing Saga Minstrel Song. It's coming out this December or this winter. And I'm stoked for that. I'm really stoked for that, because that game is very good. It's just one of the ugliest. It has some of the ugliest character models I've ever seen, but like such a good game. Such a good game.
No, I'm so excited to play more Saga now. Like since they did the like Saga Frontier remaster. Like it made everything click for me as an adult that like frustrated me as a child. And now I want to just spark things all day. I just want to spark all of the abilities. I want to like get into those mechanics. I don't know, man.
Kelly
I
having
was
a
so
reefer
stoked.
madness moment.
You're all
I'm
about
trying to
Reefer
spark,
Madness this
bro.
week.
Final
Oh, that's
Fantasy
funny.
Reefer Madness.
Final Fantasy
Saga
Reefer
Sparking.
That's
Saga
it.
spark
That's
me one, bro. I'm sorry.
Wow.
I mean,
Moving on.
Romancing Saga and Scarlet Grace sitting right there. Just saying.
Just saying.
Fair enough. All right, so we'll go ahead and move on to the news because, hey, we actually do have current news to cover as well. Starting off with a little bit of Kojima news, which this is actually a little bit outside of what you normally hear, but I thought it was a good thing that him and his company are working on, so I wanted to bring it up. But Kojima Productions will be providing support to refugees fleeing Ukraine to Japan. They're not clear on the full details yet. They said they're going to announce it on a later date, but I haven't seen any more updates on that. I haven't had a chance to look. But it's a great move by a company run by a man who has consistently made anti-war statements through the Metal Gear series for decades. Everyone's just like, thinking all the Metal Gear games are all about war. But if you ever actually play them or look at his stuff, yes, it's insane. But it's also very much anti-war for a lot of things.
I just
that he
don't
tries to push.
understand why video games have to be political. I love Metal Gear Solid. I love the series. I don't understand why games have to be political.
I hate how accurately you sound like my son does when he makes his mocking voice to say almost the same thing. I'm going to hear that from him. He's going to walk. Yeah.
Of the same mind, I think, on that.
Probably. I still find it funny he told you about my Father's Day gift.
He asked if you would like it. I was like, if there's a Final Fantasy game I think your dad's going to like, it's probably going to be that one.
It's been really fun. I want to play multiplayer on it. Yeah, it's been good.
Oh, yeah. Multiplayer is actually a lot of fun. It's a mess, but it's so fun.
Oh, I'm okay with the mess. So I just thought that was something nice to point out that, Kojima is literally putting his money where his mouth is about how much he's against war and trying to do these things and trying to be a force for good to help people that are going to Japan from Ukraine to kind of help out. So I don't know how many people are going from Ukraine to Japan, but at least he's helping out.
Yeah.
So moving on from that, Xenoblade Chronicles 3 Nintendo Direct was on June 22nd, which this one, Jeremy lost his mind. The general gist of it they went into is a 6-person main story about a war where people only have a 10-year lifespan that fight to feed a giant machine with souls. And I hate how that makes sense to somebody.
Wait. So they only live 10 years. So what is how fast do they age? Like 1 year equals like 5 years? Like
you don't want to get into the weird degenerate repercussions of that.
No, listen, this is information
Xenoblade 2 already did.
This is Xenoblade Chronicles, the Oncampa edition. All of you Star Trek Voyager people out there.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. Everyone's like 5 years old and they're fully telepathic.
Well, they only live to be like 9, so this is a little bit long. These are really old Oncampas.
So I don't know anything about this game's story, and I kind of want to keep it that way. I sort of want to go into this blind, so I didn't really watch this direct. I was literally watching, like I had it muted in the background so I can see if the collector's edition went on sale. And
we're going to talk about that in just a second.
Yeah, that was fun because that didn't.
Oh yeah, I have some thoughts on this.
But I did see this expansion pack or the expansion pass thing, and
yeah,
I had one, like I have a lot of very divided feelings about Xenoblade 2, especially with the presentation and the way that like the game treats like giant balloon boobs as like something that's just fine, like, oh, just overly sexualize this thing.
What's
and
gravity?
It's fine. Yeah, true. It is sort of in space, ambiguously in space. But like
that was not a defense.
Yeah, no, I know. But like, yeah, I'm sort of divided on it. But one thing I had to say that it did really, really well is that like the DLC, man, wow, like they added a bunch of extra stuff after the game came out, like fixes and actually just extra content. And then they added a whole new standalone game that might as well just like be its own game, Torna. And so I'm kind of thinking that this is sort of what this expansion, because they even said that there's going to be like gameplay content via expansion pass.
Yeah.
So I'm
Torna,
guessing it'll be something similar.
I haven't finished it yet, but Torna kind of was its own game because I do have the cartridge of just that. You could buy it separately and play it by
Yeah, yeah.
itself.
Yep.
Right. And it's
So
like, I mean, Torna took me, I think, like 18 hours to finish, like to do well, even maybe with doing everything was even longer. And it was fun. It was like it was very much its own thing. And like that's kind of what DLC should be to me. You know, like the
old
old
school
like
expansions,
right, exactly. The old
yeah,
school feeling of like a PC game
like
expansion
like
that
Brood
actually
Wars
felt.
for StarCraft. That
Yeah,
was
yeah.
basically a sequel without making an entire sequel.
Right, and like Command and Conquer did it. A lot of the AD&D games did it, like BioWare games, Baldur's Gate 2. So that like I think that was cool. I think that's how like what DLC should be. So I'm kind of stoked about this. I figured that would be the case, especially considering that they apparently had this game finished for a while and we're just waiting to release it. So I'm guessing that you have more time to make some polished DLC, which is exciting.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have any theories as to why they waited to release it?
COVID probably is a big part of it. Market release windows, production all got halted, especially distribution. So like,
Just timing.
Hmm.
Yeah.
yeah, like well, release windows are always big, but like, I think the logistics of production for Nintendo, especially with a series like a genre like JRPGs are for Nintendo themselves. Yeah, I know it's Monolith Soft, but it's second party. Um,
But I think they
they
own them now. So
yeah. But it's like they have to be very very particular about when the thing releases, and they want to make sure that everything lines up, which is exactly why they tried to be accommodating with this collector's edition thing and ended up just like making it an even bigger mess than it needed to be.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, let me cover some of this stuff, and we'll get into the collector's edition here. It's releasing July 29th, 2022, so later this month. The expansion
That's
pass
so
you
insane to
mentioned
think
is
about.
$30, which seems like a lot to buy at one time when you're already buying a $60 game, but sadly, that's kind of par for course for a lot of stuff.
And again, it's like you're gonna get it like a second game. Like it's
Right.
basically like it seems okay.
I 100% guarantee Jeremy's probably already get paid for this. Like he's going to get the expansion pass, no problems whatsoever. You get helpful items and outfit color variants on release day. You get a challenge battle and new hero characters and quests, new outfits by December 31st of this year. And then challenge battle, new hero characters and quests, new outfits by April 30th of 2023. And then brand new story scenario by December 31st of 2023.
That's not a placeholder date or anything.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely not. Set in stone.
I like the fact they actually did put by these dates. Like they left themselves a window to work around for delaying or whatever.
And they did this with Smash Ultimate too, I remember. So
Mhm.
Nintendo like tries to actually set deadlines for that kind of stuff, which is nice. But like yeah, we know like 14 devs are like unfed and withering, emaciated.
Hopefully not, but probably. Um, but yeah, we'll talk about now the collector's edition fiasco, which they have tried not once but twice to release this. The first day being the absolute worst because
Oh god.
nobody could get it. The entire website crashed. Nobody managed to get one. And we had to wait for an unknown amount of time. It was like almost 2 weeks, wasn't it? Like before they finally did it again.
Even longer. Yeah, I think it was almost a month because it was from the direct, and then it was like from that little mini direct thing that they did where they released some more information about it, and then then like 2 weeks passed, and then they announced the Xenoblade direct, and then we expected to hear about that in the direct, and we never did. So
yesterday, out of the blue, I mean, they announced it, I guess, the night before. I didn't see it till yesterday
2 nights
morning.
before,
That they were going to try it again to release it, and I guess we could say, and I am air quoting if you're not watching, successful, because people actually managed to buy it. Kinda. it was a hot mess. Everybody was trying to get in there to get it. They dropped the limit because originally you could get 2 copies. They dropped it down to everyone could only get 1 copy per account. I spent, because I was at work and I could kind of just keep refreshing my computer and do all that stuff. It took me a couple of hours
Same.
to finally get one.
Mm-hmm. Same here.
Because I knew I could do that.
I didn't bother. Like,
You're smart for that, honestly.
Well,
like,
the reason
there's nothing in it that really, you know.
Yeah, the reason I did it though is because this is pretty much Jeremy's favorite series. Just completely. He wasn't going to get up and be able to go to, he had to go to work around the time this was starting. He wouldn't be able to sit there on his phone or wait. So I went ahead and pulled it up on my laptop and had it cycling while I was working on stuff in the lab. And after very annoyed, angry tweets, pictures of what was going on, all the errors, it would log me in, log me out, show up in the thing, but not be there in the cart. And then back and forth. It finally popped through and I managed to get one for him. Because I texted him going like, hey, did you get one? And he's like, no, never even had a chance. I was like, cool, got you covered. Send him the picture. So it wasn't even for me that I got it. I wanted to get it for him.
Yeah.
But
like I got all the other times the game came out, I got it for the first one that came out on the Wii. I got the special one that came with the art book. For the second one that came out, I got the whole this box was like this big.
Yep.
And
I have that one too.
Yeah, so we got that
Yeah,
one.
mine's right there,
and then I even remember for Xenoblade Chronicles X, I got the thing for that. And it came with the little USB
big box. Yep.
The USB, the heavy this thumb drive could kill a man. It was that heavy. And it just had
die-cast, I think.
Yeah, it was die cast. And it could but it had the music on it. So I this time I was just like, you know what? I'm not gonna do it. I'm only gonna get special editions and stuff that actually mean something to me. And so they haven't announced anything for the one game that I'm really excited about that I won't say the title of. Y'all already know what it is. They haven't announced anything for that. So here we are. So
yeah, I've gotten way pickier about my collector's editions. Like I still enjoy having them, but like even talking about the Ninja Turtle one, I absolutely love that game. But what they have with that collector's edition, like I don't get why they make like the really big super one is the only way to get these, the soundtrack on a CD. So I'm just going to buy the album separate, just be the heck with it. But I ended up even passing on that. So like I said, the only reason I even went in and fought for this one was so Jeremy could have it, because I know it's one that he wanted and would appreciate. But like Caleb and Amon tried to get this, and Caleb did finally manage to get it, but he is angry with Nintendo's bull on how their website works. And I put it like they run their website like they do their online service, where they're at least a decade behind. I feel like this was an AOL, or even further back than a decade, like an AOL login. It was so janky coming in and out.
I have... So there's something I want to say about this, and I may offend somebody with it. I love how Nintendo gets a free pass from stuff from a lot of people until this happened, right? Like Nintendo's been doing this false scarcity crap for literally decades. Not only that, but they have been full of questionable business. I say this as somebody who has bought every Nintendo system day one. They have been full of questionable decisions that are anti-consumer. They have constantly basically almost spit in the face of customers' goodwill for years. And the thing that finally sets people off is anime RPG game collector's edition with art book gets kind of fumbled. And it's like the time that it actually affects somebody, like this is what this is what it takes. This is the thing that makes you be like, well, I'm questioning Nintendo now. I don't know, man. I'm not saying that anybody here has done it or anything like that. I'm not even pointing fingers. It's just kind of like a speculative thing. I just challenge it, basically. Like, if this is the thing that made you go, hey, screw you, Nintendo, middle fingers, I don't know, maybe reflect a little bit back on that. the history.
Yeah, I'm not saying. I know you said you weren't talking about any of us. Like, I'm not saying that was a reason, or even like I'm just like, you guys know how to run a website. Like, come on,
Yeah,
you
they
should have
should
known.
know, man.
Especially, I think what makes it worse, and I think why a lot of people are annoyed. It's one thing, like anyone who's played like MMOs or tried to order something rare, like when it starts off, it's going to be a mess. You can't always plan. Like, you can have extra servers and stuff ready, but you can't always guarantee you're going to have enough bandwidth to cover something. Look at Netflix. Netflix has been streaming for over a decade now, and their servers got knocked down today because so many people were trying to watch Stranger Things, which I will be watching this weekend to finish. But even they did not know, and that's their literal all they do anymore. I don't even know if you can get DVDs from them. It's just streaming, and they got knocked down. So it happens. I get that. It sucks. You're inconvenienced, but it's not the end of the world. But Nintendo did this a month ago, had the exact same problems, and then didn't fix it. That's the problem. I mean, that's where I'm going. Really?
Yeah, and it's like, okay, they know, man. They know, because they've had this.
Right.
They've had this happen with products before. It happened with the Switch. Happened with the OLED Switch. Like, it's not anything new to them. Like, it reminds me a lot of FF14's launch and the beta before Realm Reborn, because that was so bad, man.
That was a hot
that
mess.
Was so bad. Like, and that has continued to happen throughout every expansion that they've released. But at least with that game, it makes a little bit more sense, because that is a lot more volatile. There are way more pieces in place than a shop front.
Exactly.
And so, yeah, there's kind of no reason. I mean, I have to say, like, I think retailers or not retailers, I think game companies are probably going to start to go like the LRG route, where they take open pre-orders earlier, so they can more easily gauge that. I think these premium boutique releases like LRG or Premium Edition, or shout out to Frank, or just Strictly Limited, et cetera, et cetera. I think you're starting to see that market swell really big, and I think you're gonna see like bigger companies start to try to take note of that and try to employ their own practice. Because it's like, for Nintendo, they always want to release stuff in a window. They don't want to make the pre-order 8 months in advance, right?
Right.
So,
and then the market's gone that way. Like, I'm a collector of games. Like, I know a lot of people have a negative stigma to that, but I actually do play the games. But the way digital has become so viable for so many people, you can get that game. And then for those of us that want a physical copy specifically, if we have the understanding, we'd rather wait a little bit to get it for some of these titles than have to go in. Like, I remember Limited Run when it first started, and it was, we only have 2,000 copies of this, and you're fighting to get it.
Right.
And every once in a while they still have to do that, not because they're trying to be jerks about it, but because it's something like the Sega Mini Arcade. They really only have so many of that. It's already made, and they have to run with it. That was a fight for me to get it. But I only got that in a controller. I couldn't even get the accessories for it. But the fact that we can go ahead.
I was going to say, they're also doing that with this, because they said that they're going to ship you the game, and then they're going to ship you the collector's edition, like, in an indeterminate time in the fall.
Really?
Yeah, it's on the. So they actually did announce this, but I didn't notice it until after I got the item, after I put it in my cart.
Son.
Yeah, well, I mean, you'll still get it, but they're going to ship you the game at the time it releases, and then they're going to ship you the collector's edition, which I think that's fine, but like,
that makes this even worse than, like, they could have done more of an open thing,
right?
Because there's nothing in it so specific they couldn't continue to print or make.
Exactly.
Well, yeah, that makes it worse. Thanks, Joey.
Yeah. I mean, like, okay, so this kind of happened with Metroid Dread, and Metroid Dread's collector's edition dropped, and it sold out instantly. Yeah. And I think this was the only thing. Okay, no, yeah. So I got this on GameStop, and then they decided to cancel my order. Ooh. And I hate the fact that I even had to like break down and order something from GameStop kills me. But like, this happened, and then Nintendo made a bunch of other ones, and then now those collector's editions are really easy to get for a while. And I feel like at least that's like, okay, you're responding to the issue. You don't want to make too many. You don't have too much of a surplus because then you're not going to sell them, and you don't know how well the sales are going to do for that game, et cetera, et cetera. But it didn't destroy the site.
Yeah.
Like
Right.
I mean, there's a way to gauge that interest and be respectful of your customer's time and not have them sit around for 2 hours waiting in like digital line to add something to their cart. And then after they get to the point where they can, just have it not work or fail or anything.
Right.
And there are ways to make these kind of like
Oh,
limited.
now people are doing fireworks. Just
no.
screw this recording.
I thought I heard something pop. That's awesome.
God. I'm about to go there and start yelling at somebody like, look, really? Can y'all just shut up?
No, let's just like lean into the background noise and just have a lot of stuff just like randomly happening in the background. It'll be fine.
Well, it's going to be freaking out my cats now, too.
Oh, no.
Yeah, they do not like fireworks. This stuff terrifies them.
Neither does my dog.
Anyways, continue. Sorry. Yeah.
But I was just saying that there's like a way to do this kind of like release to make the scarcity almost fun. And part of that is making sure that you're like people know very quickly whether they can or cannot do this, giving people like rewarding people's behavior when they actually, put the effort in to try to give you their money. I think that the worst part about the Nintendo thing is that like the ratio of people trying to give them their money to the ratio of people who could actually give them their money was just absurd. And nobody's happy.
Yeah. And it doesn't help. There's a lot of people, and I'm not trying to say like, oh, this is a saving grace on Nintendo or any of the other stuff, but the scalping market has gotten ridiculous for a lot of this stuff too, where almost anything doesn't even matter what it is. They may have no interest in it, but they'll have bots and other stuff ready or people on the wing to start grabbing as many of these as they can to try and resell. And I have to go back and look. I guarantee there's probably already a bunch of listings of that damn game already on eBay or already on places, which I love to go in and report because they're not supposed to be able to do pre-orders that way.
Yeah, for real.
My favorite though is still the dude that put his receipt up to prove he had it, did not realize it still had the number on there, and then somebody went online and canceled his order and he lost it. And they were just like, suck it. No, they were stopping him because the guy had bought it just to resell it.
Yeah.
So they made the reseller lose it. So we were all like, that's great. Yeah, he had it. They had it coming. So
yeah, no, fuck that guy.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Shit. Damn it. It's a spiral.
That's fine. Screw it today. I don't care. I just said that in the most PG-13 way.
Screw it today, gang.
Gosh, darn it.
Just like play some selective fireworks sounds over that part of
That's going to be weird editing. Why not?
Sorry, I think we went a little bit long in the tooth with Xenoblade, but the last thing I want to ask is, Kelly, is this giving you any incentive to play through Xenoblade 1? Because you didn't finish it, I don't think.
No, I didn't. And I do want to. It's almost like a double-edged sword because like I have this, it's coming out. It's going to be a big thing. People are going to be talking about it. It'd be nice to be caught up for that. But at the same time,
that's what
I don't
YouTube's
think there's
for.
any way in God's green earth that I'm going to be able to get caught up in this series by the time this comes out.
No.
So you could definitely do Xenoblade, the rest of Xenoblade 1 and Xenoblade 2 in that time.
In 28 days.
The rest of it. Yeah, the rest of it. From wherever you left off. So you'd have to watch, I guess, a recap video or something.
So if she gets this done in time, she does it 28 days later. She's basically, the zombie apocalypse is going on.
Yeah.
And she's just buried in a corner somewhere playing this game.
Like, coming full circle with Godspeed. I mean, how it is.
Honestly, the thought of like completely tuning out the entire world to focus on Xenoblade for 28 days feels like a good mental health move, honestly.
Given the way I don't know, man.
I scrimbled Xenoblade 2, and I don't know if that was good for my mental health. Like, I was playing through that game. I was like, I really like this game, but it's making me so upset. Every creative decision here is making me so upset. This is a good game. Why'd you have to do this? And I was just like fuming and mad at myself. And like, it was an experience.
I do have to say for Xenoblade 1, I did finally finish that one after 3 attempts. because I'm bad about
It's a
RPGs.
long
We've talked
game.
about this before. ADHD is not RPG friendly, but they did do a lot of stuff with this Switch version that helped. Like you could finish a quest and then just turn it in without having to actually go anywhere. Like you used to have to actually return, find that person, turn it in. Now it's just like, do you want to turn it in? Boop, done. You get your stuff and continue on. So much better. I have the second game. I got it at launch and it was running. It was really janky. So I kind of waited on that. Found a copy of the expansion to that, picked it up because I wanted to have a physical copy. And I know they've tweaked it a lot to run better, but I haven't gone back to play that one. I'd gotten a couple hours in and I need to see if I can make myself do it. And I'm sure I'll once again get 3 and we'll see how long that lasts. I need to find a way to like make myself have to answer to somebody like, how much have you played? How far have you gotten? You guys, put the
RPG
pressure on me
boss.
for it. Right.
I do admit in the first game I am like in the last city. Well, there's more after that obviously, but it's like, that's where I'm at. And I'm looking forward to beating it. It's just that I remember getting to this part the first time I played it, and I remember it felt like such a slog. I don't know why. It just did. So,
well, before we move on to that, because we have covered a lot of Xenoblade, I still once again have to give amazing credit to Jeremy Jr. because he's been playing this since the Wii, the 3DS, and the Switch. I didn't get to finally finish it until the Switch. And after that, all that time, as much as he talks about it, as much as he loves it, he never spoiled a single thing for me.
Impressive.
He always made sure never to mention a thing because he knows how much I can't stand spoilers. Either I don't want to spoil it for anybody else, and I don't like stuff being spoiled for me.
He didn't tell you about the pachinko and the battle system?
Not once.
surprise.
But like but I knew he knew it all. So as I would figure out something, I just walk in there like, dang, this happened? And he's like, I've wanted to tell you that for years. So congrats on him. And, for not say that's a long-term no spoiler on 3 releases of a game. That's impressive. All right. So what's not impressive and is really annoying somehow, I don't know why, Bobby Kotick has been voted to stay on the Activision Blizzard board for another year. And Joey has the proper way. For those that don't know sign language, that's a one-time PG-13 fuck you to Bobby Kotick. Seriously, as soon as this merger goes through with Microsoft, I know they're kind of contractually stuck right now because Activision Blizzard still has control over their board. Until then, they got to kick him out. Like I know he is like the poison pill they want to get rid of as fast as they can. But like, why would you keep this troll around? Like,
Someone's getting paid. I don't even want to think about Blizzard. They're not even worth my time to critically think about at this point. I'm just like, that's all I have for them.
Fair
That's
enough.
all I got.
Well, we got a couple more things to cover for them.
Dang.
Activision Blizzard then went and announced that Overwatch 2 will fully replace Overwatch 1, which originally they said they would be compatible with each other, but now Overwatch 2 will be free to play, but this also means the original 6v6 mode that I usually enjoy is going away permanently because you will have to play Overwatch 2's 5v5 with no way to actually go back and play the original. So
I don't even play Overwatch, and that's stupid. They're going to completely alienate a player base, essentially.
Well, their argument, and a lot of people are saying you get those people like, oh, it's fine. It's free to play. You get the game and you can play it. And if you have the original, you get all these characters and stuff. And I was like, yeah, but you're getting rid of the mode that a lot of people like. Like you kind of said that would still be there and the other stuff would carry over. Overwatch 2 has been nothing but a hot mess. Like it should have just been an expansion to the first game and kept it going because that's all it really is. So anyways, no one else wants to talk about that either.
Oh, no, I agree with you completely. That's all I have.
Yeah, no, I get that. And I appreciate the fact that you did use sign language for those watching the video at home that cannot hear us.
Yeah, I am inclusive.
Can I get you to repeat that statement, please?
I am inclusive?
No, the other one, your actual statement about Activision Blizzard.
Yeah.
I'll join you in solidarity.
If everyone wants to
come on, Rachel Kelly, join me to Activision Blizzard. Oh, she double deuced it.
Oh, dang.
Right.
All right.
So that's
It's
how we feel
the
about
it's
Activision
the
Blizzard.
It's the finger guns club. That's what it is.
I love you guys on this show. All right, so developer Aspire, I keep wanting to say Asper. They've admitted, and this was kind of weird, that you're not able to finish Knights of the Old Republic 2, The Sith
Bro.
Lords on Switch. Which, like, how do you do? So the game crashes when a story cinematic, the Basilisk Crash, plays out about halfway through the game.
Maybe
They've come out and told people a code to put in to get into a development mode so you can make yourself fast travel past it so you can continue the game.
Why didn't they just make it a skippable cutscene?
I don't know if it would fix it. It's
It
probably
wouldn't.
a flag in the game that, like, when you hit it, like,
So,
that's so
My
weird.
favorite thing about this is how they are essentially putting the Nintendo in the hot seat.
Yeah, they're
As it
trying to.
should
They're
be.
like, oh, we're trying to make the fix, but Nintendo's going to slow us down on it. Like, how did you not find this in testing?
Well, I mean, at least they're being honest about the crash and not,
True, yeah, they're
Oh,
not trying to
that is
obfuscate it.
there
Oh,
are
they
other
were.
there are
They
other
got-
gaming companies that would not be honest
Yeah,
about
they got found out and called out by a person online is how it got out there. Because somebody was like, hey, this is what's crashing. And they kept pushing, saying, oh, this is fine. It'll be okay. And the guy's like, no, it's not. And had to finally prove it. And they finally admitted to it. But like, how, like, I get, nowadays they can fix it for the patch. Hopefully they will solve that before the physical release comes out, because that would be terrible to actually release that way and not be able to do it. But I just still don't get, like, if you have to play the game to test it, how do you not find the bug that doesn't let you get past halfway through the game? Did they just never test the rest of it? It's like, finding out the end of your movie, like a Marvel movie, didn't have all the cinematics done because it just stops part way. We just never watched it past that piece. Whoops. Release it. Oops. I don't know. It's just weird. So yeah, I just wanted to bring that up. Thought y'all might have something fun to say about it.
It's Nintendo. That's the most Nintendo issue. It like literally doesn't surprise me.
I don't see how that would be a Nintendo issue, though. I mean, that's the developers that didn't do it.
Yeah, but like sometimes hardware issues happen really late stage in development, and if a game, if you are given a time to release something, and you absolutely have to put it out in that time. You can't. It's sometimes very, very difficult to try to switch that release date around, or maybe Nintendo even like paid them a little extra. You never know. So like it's like multifaceted, sure, but like nothing about that surprises me from working on a console that's as hardware deficient as the Switch is at this point. So
I mean,
also
for ports
that's
like this, it should be fine, though. I mean,
it's funny. It's such an old game too.
Because I've been playing Stubbs the Zombie, and it runs like beautifully on the Switch. Like, they did a good job. That was an original Xbox game that got ported over, so it's just weird. I don't know.
But yeah, game is okay anyway. It's just kind of all right.
The first one's better.
First one's really good though.
Yeah.
One's...
I'm waiting on that one to get here. So
maybe that's a feature, not a bug. Maybe like that's the point at which the game is like, should be done. You're done playing it now. You've gotten everything out of this game that you need.
You don't need to finish this. Go save your life and do something else. That would suck. All right. AMD Fidelity FX Super Resolution 2.0. What a name.
This is cool.
Is officially being added to the Xbox development kits for the Xbox Series X and S to use, which that's actually really cool news. This is a similar tech to the NVIDIA DLSS, but it's an open source design. It allows the game to render a lower resolution of the game to speed up frame rates, enable ray tracing, and other advanced features while still outputting a higher resolution image with the real-time AI upscaling to like 4K or so. Other systems have done something similar, but this is kind of the newer one they've been using. But they only have to basically have a physical rendering budget for like a 1080p or 1440p game, which they can do more effects, while still outputting something higher. This is useful because it'll enable more games to use some of these newer graphical features that have been coming out for hardware that have been kind of taxing one way or the other, where like if a game has ray tracing, they're having to do like 30 frames or a limited version to do 60 frames, or they're running it at a lower resolution than 4K. So I don't know, it'd be kind of nice. It launched last year with support for 7 games, but it's now available with 110 available with upcoming ones. And then the FSR 2.0 API on whatever GPU Open is releasing for easier integration by developers. I mean, it's just kind of nice to see this actually built in, and I think this will really be useful for the Series S for people making kind of the smaller games for a lot of that as well. Anybody else, or am I just babbling on about tech?
No, it's cool. It's just that there's not a whole lot to say without getting like really granular and taking up more time with what we already have.
Yeah, and I'm very bad about I can get granular with this stuff. I like talking about the technology. I find it intriguing.
Same here. It's really cool. It just like it's one of those things. It's like I feel like you have to devote like 50 minutes to it.
Yeah, that would have been a fun, after talk or something. And this one's a bit of sad news that my wife was not happy to hear about. Composer John Williams has stated that the score for the still entitled Indiana Jones 5 may be his last. This guy's done stuff from Star Wars, Jaws, Valley of the Dolls, Close Encounters of the Third Kind, Raiders of the Lost Ark, Indiana Jones, Last Crusade, E.T., The Extraterrestrial, Jurassic Park, Memoirs of a Geisha, and so many other movies, TV shows, just orchestra performances. Most of my kids, and especially my wife, are musicians, and Amanda, she's a big French horn player, and he uses a lot of French horn and a lot of his stuff. So she constantly will, every time we're watching something, there's the horn line. Oh, there's that. She'll point it out. Between music and anything medical drama, it's always, you're never going to get her quiet while you're watching something.
I love John Williams, probably most, if not all, of my favorite, like some of my favorite film franchises out there had John Williams involved on the music, and you can tell when it's him. So, I think it'll be okay that this is his last, because he's been around for so long, and the man,
like 90 something.
Yeah, the man deserves as much rest as he can get. And he's worked a long time, and it's not like he probably won't still compose, but he's not going to do big projects probably anymore,
right?
Like and gosh, because he did like a happy retirement to him, honestly, if this is his last film. Like, for real, really, we'll always have his music, always. It's not going to go away. It's just we won't have as much new stuff. And it'll be a very sad day when he does pass. But like, if Indiana Jones is his last film, what a way to go. Like, ending on a really high note with an adventure film. Like,
right. Which hopefully is good.
What if it had been Crystal Skull though?
Yeah.
What if that was it? That was it. That was the fun.
I actually enjoyed Crystal Skull. I know it's not the best, but I get what they were going for with that whole 1950s alien idea. Yeah. It kind of fit how, the 40s and 30s from the previous films were of their time and genre. Yeah, it wasn't the best. And there was the stupid monkey swinging thing. But I enjoyed it. I will be that guy.
Yeah, I mean, I enjoyed the film too. I enjoyed it for what it was. But like, adventure films, there's a time and a place for them, and they're really hard to the feeling that you get when you watch something like an old Indiana Jones film, or Romancing the Stone, or Jewel of the Nile, or something like that. Like, it's a very palpable like thing, and it's not all adventure films hit that. Like, I recently watched that new adventure movie. It was like the Lost City of something, and it had Daniel Radcliffe in it as the villain, and it was fun. That was the thing. It was fun. It had Channing Tatum and Sandra Bullock. Like, it was
I
good.
need to see this.
Like it was just a fun time, and that's the whole point of adventure films, is that they are a fun time and they've got that fun feeling where it's not going to stress you out or anything like that. And it had humor, it had a little bit of love story that was kind of in the background, and it hit all the points that an event that style of adventure film should. So I think if John Williams is going to be his last film, it's a good way to end it with, something that is very near and dear to him. So
Yep. Like, so we play a lot of John Williams music around the house.
Oh.
Like we've got albums, CDs, of all the different movies and things, and we'll just put on the music, blare it through the house and enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, growing up, I mean, Star Wars, every time I think of Star Wars, I'm always hearing the music in my head. Same thing with, with the Indiana Jones series, especially The Last Crusade, which was my favorite one.
That's my favorite too.
Oh, awesome. That whole theme and everything through it, which my last thing I'll defend about Crystal Skull, people thought it was so over the top and kind of ridiculous. I'm like, have you guys watched the other Indiana Jones movies where they jumped out of a plane in a boat to survive, or he outran a boulder, or like all the other, the Ark of the Covenant flew out stuff to kill him? It never made sense. That was the beauty of it. Anyways. But yeah, hopefully I'll be looking forward to hear this last bit of music from him. And I'm sure he's going to have other stuff come out, like you said. But that guy's been around making movies and music longer than I've been alive. And I'm the old man here. So, but speaking of another bit of sad news, thankfully Williams is not gone yet. Hopefully not by the time this goes out. But Bernie Stoller passed away at 75 on June 25th of this year. A lot of people don't really remember him, but he was a massive gaming executive in the 1990s that made some of the larger moves in the industry that are still felt to this day, specifically about Sega and Sony, actually. He originally worked with Atari. He made his own coin-op company in 1980, went with Atari and worked on theirs and helped create the Atari Lynx, which a lot of people don't remember, but it was kind of a very interesting handheld. Have you guys, any of you ever actually played it or seen one?
I have one.
Really?
A Lynx?
I've got to see them, but I've never got to play one. I've always wanted to mess around with it. It's weird.
It sucks. I don't like it. It's one of those things I'm like, should I just sell it? Like
if you do, let me know.
Yeah.
I'm looking for one for my collection, so.
I don't even know. Aren't they like super expensive now too?
I don't know. We'll figure it out. I'll have to probably recap it anyways.
You're
here first, people. We're spending money. Yeah. But after that, he was hired by Sony as one of the U.S. founders of Sony Computer Entertainment America as their first executive vice president, and helped launch and create and get a lot of the IP started for the original PlayStation. So he was partially responsible for Ridge Racer, Crash Bandicoot, Oddworld Inhabitants, Battle Arena Tonshinden, Spyro the Dragon, and a bunch more. So a lot of those early PlayStation memories were attributed to this guy, like getting those companies together and getting those games licensed with it. And then he didn't really have the best ending with Sony, but a quote from VentureBeat, he said, "I loved working for Sony. I really did. But when the opportunity came up to go to Sega and help rebuild the business and come up with new hardware, I was very interested in doing it. I wouldn't have left Sony if I hadn't also lived in fear of getting fired along with everyone else, though."
Ooh.
Because apparently early in PlayStation's life, they started canning people, like a bunch of them, firing everybody off. So everyone thought their jobs were at risk, and he didn't want to sit with that. So he went over to Sega, who at the time was still running the Saturn, and he made the decision to close down production on the Saturn to start working on the new hardware, because in Japan, the Saturn was doing well, but in the US, because they kept fighting with everything, it did not do well at all. The PlayStation was just demolishing it. There weren't as many games for it. It wasn't very supported, which sucks because I got a Saturn later on in life, and it's actually a very fun machine.
Yeah, just physically playing it is awful because 500 things go wrong with the Saturn.
Oh, yeah. No,
It's
my
so
God,
bad.
Great fighting games, though. They had some of the best ones. That's mostly what I liked on it.
Really good strategy RPGs too. Saturn's one of those, and 2D platformers. The Symphony of the Night, Mega Man X3. There's a lot of really, really good ports that are better than the original. Oh, Sonic 3D Blast. That version is actually really good, unlike the Genesis one, which is kind of dookie. I just played through that, so I know.
Yep. But he cleared out house of most of the employees, went from 300 employees down to 90 as he built up the company, and kind of went and ended up designing parts of the Dreamcast. And then he was also involved in the purchase of Visual Concepts, which later became 2K Sports, and who still makes the NBA 2K series today, which is one of the highest selling basketball series. They also made really good football games back in the day before EA bought the license out.
Mhm.
After he left Sega, he worked at Mattel, where they made a push for doing like Barbie video games, and then went to Google, where ironically he pushed to try and do streaming for gaming way before Google did it a decade later, or tried to with the Stadia, which I still think is a mess.
Yeah, that it is a mess.
Yeah, they still send me emails going like, "Hey, you've got games ready to buy." I'm like, "No, I don't. Leave me alone. I dropped this." Like, thanks for giving me the free stuff to try it. It was still horrible. So, like I said, a lot of people don't really recognize him. I still have some of the old like EGM and other magazines where there's like pictures and stuff of him in there when they're interviewing and talking about the different systems coming out. I might see about scanning some of those and see if I can post them. I don't know how. The company's not around anymore, so they shouldn't be too upset by it. But just to kind of get some of those older articles out from my collection. So yeah, sad day for that. All right. Next up, we have the Nintendo Mini Direct, and this is pretty much what we're going to talk about till the end of the show.
Yep.
This was on the 28th, and I'm just going to go through some of these kind of quick, and if there's any specific ones we want to go off and rant about, which I'm sure there will be, just let us know. Say what?
I said it's a good call. Yeah, we're creeping.
Yeah, it's
We
an
are
hour and a
creeping.
half.
Yeah,
We're creeping. We talked a lot of Xenoblade.
true.
Yeah. So Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak, they gave some information about it. It came out yesterday. I'm probably going to get the DLC for it. I'll try it later, but it's Monster Hunter. Enjoy.
Oh wait, real quick, just so you know, that game there's no physical copy. It's not like Torna. You get the box, the amiibo, and no cart.
Oh, wow.
So
I know,
you just get a code.
Yeah, I actually went looking for it yesterday. I was gonna buy the copy of it if they were gonna do like they did with Monster Hunter World, where they released a version of it on there. But it's the normal cartridge, a code for the DLC, and that's it. And I was like, yeah, no, I'm good. I'm just gonna buy the DLC at home then.
Yeah.
This one surprised me and also caused many people to give a side eye to Square. Nier Autonoma, the end of Yora edition, is coming out October 6th. It's going to have some free DLC at launch, like costumes and stuff. But the kick is, according to the developers, it is running at 1080p. It's a 30 frame game, but it's natively running on the Switch with all the content included. So everyone's like, you guys did that? Looking, and then they just kind of side-eyed to Kingdom Hearts. Why did y'all make that streaming again?
I do wonder if they might have secretly like outsourced the port or something, or if they were trying something new. And
which one for Kingdom Hearts?
For Kingdom Hearts, and then it's just now it got too far down the pipeline, and there was no coming back from that. They already put the recliner in the recline position. There was no coming back from that.
Yeah, once you hop on that train, there's no getting off.
Yeah, I mean they put their feet up and they leaned back and they went down for a little snooze and just let it go, and then when they woke up, it was already out on the store. So
yeah, that's that. You know, that being said, though, Automata at 30 FPS.
I still want to take a look at it and try it out. I've heard good things about the game.
I think it's cool that they're
she's yawning.
I know. I think it's cool that they're putting it on. For mobile. Like I really, I would not have said this a few years ago, but I really think mobile gaming is, where it's going. I mean, it's already like that in Japan. So they're really big into mobile over there as opposed to console. Now we're always going to have consoles, but like I'm glad that, developers are wanting to give their games essentially mobility, which is it's a whole other market to touch. So
yeah, and it's just not
a good console. So
I'm about to say the Switch has sold so many for a lot of people that is their main way of playing it. So this is more people that get to enjoy your game. So hey,
There
why
are
not?
people who were not like any semblance of a gamer until they got their Switch. So it's a
Yeah.
gateway console.
Next up, this one, I'm not sure what's going on, but the design of it just kind of intrigues me. It's Lorelei and the Laser Eyes, coming out in 2023.
I don't even know what that is. So,
I've seen the trailer and I still don't know what it is, but it just looks intriguing. You find those games, you're just like, I want to know more when it becomes available. But beyond that, we'll see. Super Bomberman R2 is coming out. It's more Super Bomberman, which actually has a mode now where you can play one person against an entire group where you're trying to basically castle defend an area from other players, which actually sounds kind of like a fun party game.
Yeah, that sounds cool. I hope it runs at higher than 10 FPS with like less than an entire second and a half of input lag. Because
Well,
that's what the first one did.
Yeah, it had issues.
I'm sure it'll be fine, and you'll be able to play the entire game without a game-breaking glitch.
No, until you watch the cutscene where Bomberman shows his ass, and then the game just crashes, and you can't get around it. So, alas, he moons, dude. He just moons you. Like we're there. This is the gritty reboot of Bomberman that they hinted at with Bomberman for 360, but we never got.
God, we don't talk about that.
Super Bomber Moon.
Oh,
Bomberman.
That's fantastic. This one really caught me by surprise. Like, I'm gonna admit, I'm not a big fan of this series, but I've got a friend that is, and I've been trying to talk to him about it. Mega Man Battle Network Legacy Collection. So this covers. Go ahead.
This was stuck in rights hell for like the longest time.
What was causing it? I'm kind of curious. Like, if you've got a background, fill us in because I don't know on this one.
There's a lot of stuff I don't know if I can say. I used to do like press stuff for Capcom.
Oh, okay.
Like I used to get press stuff from Capcom, and I had a lot of insider info. But like I will say that this is something that they were trying to do for a long time, and just were sort of waiting for the right time to finalize it, basically. So real quick, something about this collection that sucks. There's like 4 or 5 Japanese exclusive things related to the series that we never got here that are actually pretty substantial games. Also, there's no Battleship Challenge, which, okay, I know that game apparently sucks, but like it is sad to not see it. But it's also hard to complain because this is like, each of these games are at least 15 to 25 hours. So it's hard to like to have sour grapes about that, but like
these were all what, Game Boy Advance and some were DS. Okay,
yeah. But I'm really stoked for this because I've only ever played the first 2, and I think I made a tweet about this, but I played like every other Mega Man game but Battle Network 3 to 6, and then the Star Force games. Those are that's my biggest blind spot.
I never played the Battle Network games myself, but my friend Cassie absolutely loved them. And this was before I was like super into gaming. Like I had a Game Boy Advance and I was playing like Spyro on it or something. And I would watch her play it. And I was like, these look really good. And then I tried to play it and I just wasn't good at it, I guess, at the time. But
it takes a lot of getting used to. It's a really weird system.
It is. And I just remember watching her play it and enjoying watching her play it. So I don't know that I'll buy it, but I'll probably watch people stream it if they decide to stream it.
This is something my kids might enjoy, but I remember like when I first got a hold of this, I didn't know what it was. And I was going from like, the original NES Mega Mans and Mega Man X. And I'm like, well, this is different.
Yeah, and no network transmission. I just realized that really sucks because that game was cool as hell.
That was the GameCube one, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was more of like it's funny enough. I think Mighty Number 9 ate the crap out of that game actually. But yeah, it's sad, and I think a big reason for that is because there was the Battle Network anime, and a lot of those spin-off games, especially the ones that were in Japan. Probably a lot of licensure tied up in the anime, voice acting, voice clips, music, etc.
Okay. Yeah, they can go back and make some changes for that, which actually our next game we'll talk about had to kind of do something like that to come out as well. But Pac-Man World Repack, they're basically remaking the first Pac-Man World, which was a fun game. Like, it's an interesting platformer. I'm kind of curious to play it, but they, just like the Pac-Man Universe collection, they had, or Pac-Man Museum Plus, sorry, they had to go back and any trace of Mrs. Pac-Man and Pac-Baby had to be changed. They had to make a new female Pac-Man and new baby Pac-Man that were close but legally distinct because they didn't own the rights to that part. So they had to go in and change it in here as well. So it's a new Pac Lady.
The canon is that Miss Pac-Man was just the side chick that the side chick who Pac-Man hooked up with temporarily, and then they got divorced, and his
She
real
took the
baby
Pac
mama
baby.
was that one.
Well, I
Right.
mean, I
Well,
always
it's a
read
new
it as
kid.
secret second family.
Yeah. True.
Paid him in quarters. Oh man.
It's a lot of quarters, man.
Right.
It's an empire.
But I know it's a remake of that game, but I'm kind of looking forward to trying it at least because it could be fun for me. Next up was a game called Blank. Comes out in February 2023 as a console launch exclusive. I love the art style of this one. I guess you're playing as, I think it's like a white fox and what was the other animal? I'm trying to remember. It wasn't a rabbit. I think it may have been a dog.
Like the monochromatic style.
Yeah,
sort of.
but it had a really nice art style to it. I don't know. It looked really cool, so I'm looking forward to that. But that's not so early next year. Return to Monkey Island coming out later this year was announced, and we won't be hearing about this game anymore, sadly, because people were being, and I'm not, excuse my language here, fucking assholes to the creator to the point he is no longer going to talk to people online or about his game because they went on his own website and other stuff and saying so much nasty crap to him. He's like, yeah, I don't want to deal with you people anymore. So thanks everybody. He came back to come back and make a new Monkey Island from the series he helped create. And you all completely were dicks to him.
Yeah.
So what the hell?
The game will come out, but we won't know anything about it until it drops, which is stupid.
Yeah, because it was Ron Gilbert that they did this to.
And the thing is he's such a nice guy.
He is. Like every time he talks to people, he's always so excited to talk about it.
What were the things that they said? They were just like, no one wants to play your game because
they went in and they were describing like, oh, the artwork, like all your designs are lazy. It's just like that 90s big computer company flat shaded stuff, or you're not creative, or oh, you made it look like this because you're just proving you didn't want to come back and make it and you just want to make it as bad as you can. Like that was, as they put it, some of the nicer things they could quote because the other ones were just so nasty and vile as personal attacks. He was like, I don't want to deal with this anymore. Like really, you ran off Ron Gilbert. The guy's been making games since the 80s. Like really good games.
This kind of stuff happens all the time, but I have noticed that it is happening a lot more now to people who are totally undeserving. And it's a culture shock of weird proportions, and I hate it. If you want to be rude to someone, be rude to someone that deserves rudeness. Don't be rude to someone or cruel to someone that does not. So
even with that, if you don't like something, it's okay not to like something. If you don't like a show, if you don't like a game, you don't have to sit there and be just absolutely vile and cruel to the people that made it. Like you can not like something without being a monster.
I don't know. I had nothing good to say about Mega Man X7.
Even though you would say nothing, you would say something bad about the game, but I know you would not go after the developers and be like, "You're horrible for this."
Oh,
you can question like, "Why'd you do that?" But not be.
There's one person I would. It's the dudes who did Kingdom, or what is it? Kingdom, the Deliverance, the stupid neo-Nazi idiot.
That thing.
That's
Kingdom Come Deliverance. Yeah, that guy sucks. I'd come for him any day.
Yeah, no, that's a little different.
Yeah.
We said people.
Yeah, true. Not like actual pieces of human refuse. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Big difference. Yeah.
Yeah. The guy that made Earthworm Jim. Yeah. I gotta say his name. So I hate the fact that we're seeing that more and more coming after people, because he wasn't saying or doing anything like trying to argue with people. He was just excited about a game he's gotten to work on for years because he was happy to finally get the license back so he could create, he got his baby back. And to be met to that point that he doesn't want to talk about it anymore, it's got to be just crushing to somebody, So moving on from that, Mario and Rabbids Sparks of Hope coming out October 20th, 2022. I didn't watch any more about this one. I want to play it. I enjoyed the first one. Not going to lie, it was a guilty pleasure. I actually had fun with it. It was adorably animated. But we'll see how it goes.
I watched a lot of videos of the Rosalina rabbit because
Rosalina rabbit killed me.
Just the way she would take her phone out, take pictures of it.
So heinous.
Yeah. Like I said, it's a guilty pleasure for me. Like, it's funny. Like, I hate how much Rayman had to suffer because of it, but the rabbits are cute sometimes. I think I like them more than the little yellow things.
Some of the Rabbids games, like, I had such fun playing on the Wii. So I think they're all right. I won't play this game because it's not my style of game, but they're all right.
Yeah. I think this is a nice, like, easier tactical game for people to get into because it's nowhere near as punishing as, like, I know it shares, controls and design with XCOM, but XCOM can be downright mean. Like, that game will brutalize you very quickly. So, after that was Little Noah, Scion of Paradise. It's available now. I didn't really see too much about this one. I think this is another one of the Square games, I believe.
I think so.
So yeah. Railgrade comes out fall 2022.
No. Little Noah's Side Games. Grand Blue Company.
Oh, okay. My bad. That's why I was asking.
it looks interesting, but rather the gameplay looks interesting. The rest of it is like
Yeah, I knew somebody would enjoy it, but it didn't really seem like one I would get into much. Railgrade is a train simulator. Like, basically you're moving supplies and stuff around. I don't know. My son might like it just because he loves trains. RPG Time, The Legend of Wright, coming out August 18th of this year. It's kind of got an interesting notebook pencil drawing art style with over, as they put it, 200 pages to cover as you're going through the story, which very much the art style is kind of trippy. I don't know. I've seen good games that use a notebook style, and I've seen very bad ones that do as well. So I want to see more on how this one goes. Sonic Frontiers Holiday 22 got shown, and I think this is the first footage I'm aware of the game running on the Switch. Besides obvious resolution difference and a bunch of pop-in that popped in there, but it was running better than I thought it would have been. Like, this was actually more of an impressive showing than the absolute mess of the IGN launch that they did. Like, that was one of the worst ways to announce a game because it was so confusing, so spaced out weird. Sega couldn't come out and correct or say things after they were posting it. Like,
yeah,
I don't know. Did you guys have any thoughts on this one? I know the Sonic Frontiers thing is a little more bigger for people.
It looks good, and I'm interested to see what they do with it because I'm a big Sonic fan. I've almost always been a very big Sonic fan, and it looks like. So I know a lot of people didn't like Unleashed, but I like the vibe of Unleashed, and it was a fun game. And just the vibe of this game, like the lighting of it, makes me think of that in a way, and the realism of it kind of does, like just the way the graphics look. But it's going to be very open world, and it looks like they're honestly giving it they're shooting their best shot with this game. So I think it'll be good. And I think the definitely the footage that they showed more recently is definitely a lot better than the IGN one for sure.
Oh yeah, because it's not as vague. I don't know why they didn't just open with something like this, like maybe a teaser trailer and then this, rather than showing gameplay all disconnected.
Yeah,
you have a lot more faith in Sega than I do. I just
have such fond memories of it that that I want this game to be good, and I'm gonna have optimism for it.
Could there be a little tint of nostalgia in there?
Good.
Yeah.
Like
I-
I
Not in a
honestly
bad
think
way.
this
Yeah.
looks really good. Like
Yeah.
it has is a lot of potential. We actually did a podcast about the trailer stuff for this.
Oh,
It's
nice.
really in skies. But like, yeah, no. One of the things about it that I don't know if Sega really ever gives their best shot to Sonic games anymore, but like, I think this one just seems like it's easy enough for them to hit a stride with and channel that creative energy to something good. I honestly, all my impressions of it seem positive so far. I don't really have anything negative about it, except maybe I feel like the Switch version is probably going to be really bad, but like, big surprise. Big surprise there. There's too much going on in that game, physics wise, and with all the weird precision platforming that I just can't see that running amazingly well. But maybe I'll be surprised. I don't know.
I mean,
don't know.
they've pulled off some miracle ports, and then there's been some that you're just like, wow, this is a great slideshow. Like,
yeah. And again, Sega ports.
Right, not helping
Sega's
anything
never
other
been
than the
super kind
slideshow.
with since the Wii. All those Wii ports. Oh, I don't know, man. I don't know.
Yeah, I think they had a better run on the 3DS, honestly.
They did, yeah.
Oh yeah, and GameCube. They killed it on GameCube, but
They did
Yeah,
kill it on
GameCube did
GameCube.
it great. It had F-Zero GX.
hmm
And then there was the
but-
Wii U with Sonic Boom.
But yeah, I'm stoked about I'm stoked about
Oh,
this,
man.
but we'll see what happens for sure. I'm definitely very optimistic about it though. I think it is going to be good.
I think
Yeah.
I'm probably gonna double dip on this one. I'm gonna get it, probably on the Series X, but I will probably also pick up the Switch version just to see what they pull off. Because I love ports of games onto hardware it really shouldn't run on. Because like Witcher 3, I have so much fun playing that on the Switch, and it's amazing how much they got into that, But then it's also kind of fun to see if it's broken, how they did that as well. Like, what did you have to cut? How is it working? It's a curiosity.
Novelty wore off around the DS era for me. Like it was cool in Game Boy stuff when they tried to do like Game Boy versions of games, and
Mhm.
even DS stuff. I think was cool. I think Sonic's a really good example because Generations is way different on 3DS. Colors DS is like basically a third Rush game.
Yeah.
And compared to the other versions of it. So, but like now it's just like a crappier version. I don't know.
We'll see how it goes.
I'm curious to see how it is. We actually have another of the interesting ports coming out that we'll talk about in a minute that I'm looking forward to. So the next game, Disney Dreamlight Valley, coming early access September 6th. I'm going to know more about this game than I ever want to, because Jennifer has already started asking me to get this for her because she absolutely loves these Disney type games, and I'm going to buy it. I'm going to do it.
Listen, I'm going to play it. You want to know why I'm going to play it?
She's going to need a friend. You want to play with her?
I'll play it with her. No lie. Like, it looks cute. Like, it just, sometimes you need a game that's just happy,
Oh, she loves it because of the characters. Like, and to put that in perspective, they had, what was the one that was on 3DS that eventually got ported to the Switch? The other Disney one where you could kind of almost like a Disney Animal Crossing, but she has played that.
It's the Magical Kingdoms or something like that. And I don't think the first game, I don't know if they ported the first game. I know the second game came onto the Switch. But it was cute, but it was mainly based in the Magic Kingdom. Like you were in the Magic Kingdom is what it was.
Right. She played the heck out of that. She still does on occasion, actually.
It's a cute game for sure.
Yeah.
It's just fun.
I'm going to know more about this game. It was like, what was it? The DC Superhero Girls. I bought her that, and she loved that game. Like, she actually got really good at it, and it was surprisingly well made. But yeah, she's going to be all over this too. Next up is another RPG I've been kind of curious about. Live Alive, whichever one. I'm not sure which one. I hear back and forth. Joey, what's your official statement? Which one do you think it is?
I think it's Live Alive.
Okay.
I think
we think it is.
Yeah, I think it's because it was like kind of different than what I thought it was Live Alive, but I think it's Live Alive.
Yeah, I think I originally thought it was the way you said it too.
Mm-hmm.
They released a 3-chapter demo, which you can get now, that has the starting parts for the Imperial China, Twilight of Edo Japan, or Edo Japan, sorry, and the Distant Future that you can transfer your save data to. So I'm going to be trying that this weekend. I know.
Honestly, that was the one that I was talking about when at the beginning of the show. I was like, "Oh, okay. So I'll download this demo and I'll check this out." Because I did pre-order this because I'm a real big fan of the art style. It looks good. And
Joey,
I'm like,
I know you're not. I'm really sorry. The HD 2D.
Dude, I just ignore it. Like I hear the praise for HD2D and it just doesn't register to me. It's like hearing a different frequency, you know?
Yeah, he tunes it out. His brain autocorrects the HD like 2D, 3D thing. Actually, when he's playing the game and all he sees is it in 2D. It just looks
That's the new AI upscaling. You've heard of AI upscaling. This is Joie upscaling.
Just really crisp 2D. That's all it looks like.
Play the original if you're really interested, because the original still looks amazing and it's so goofy.
I just gotta find a version with a good English translation. I think because it never came out here, right?
No, it never came out here. But if you give me 1 minute,
he's gonna send you the goods.
I want to. Well, I'm gonna get this version regardless, but I would like to be able to mess around and try out the original one as well, so I have a comparison and play around with it. So we're not, for legal reasons, saying that's going to happen or that Joey is going to help me get a hold of that.
No, absolutely not.
At all. That will never happen.
No. When I was talking about
he's looking for some
cookies,
file,
first baked cookies.
Right. I don't know. I know you're not a fan of the HD 2D, but I do like some of the effects and the way this one looks on certain games when they use it. Not using it for everything. They can kind of went a little heavy on a few titles, but I think it's an interesting way to bring some 2D graphics in a different way with the newer effects. But I can also see why people wouldn't like it for certain
reasons. I mean, I hate it, but I'm not like opposed to the idea of like giving games remakes in it, if that makes sense. Like I temper my passion for it with like realism, right? Like
I think this would be a more popular version to release to the public right now than if they released just the original, which it may be better with the original depending on what you like. But I think, like you said, for a wider appeal, this one's probably going to work out better.
Yeah, I actually have a lot to say on this subject, but I don't want to waste any more time. So in the future,
that's why we're here. So, all right.
We've been here for 2 hours. I don't want to make it 4.
We're almost done. Yeah, we could do 4.
The one thing that I do want to add for this one is I'm also really excited to play it. I not so excited that I'm like gonna do the demos right now. It just feels like I'm gonna lose momentum before July 22nd happens. So why not just wait until I can just burst through it as opposed to have to stop and then maybe not start again, a la Xenoblade.
I think I'm only going to play the demos just to look through some of the beginning of it to kind of get a more of an idea of how it runs and how it looks, just to kind of get that taste. I'm not going to go story deep into it. My curiosity with this is because of my ADHD. Like I said, RPGs are difficult for me, but this one being split up between all these different stories where each one is kind of a complete but shorter tale that combines later on, I'm wondering, like, will I have an easier time going through that little bit of a tale and then maybe hold off for a bit, then go into the next one and maybe be able to work through them a little bit better?
As somebody who has played the original and remembers like probably more than 10%, but less than 50%, I will say that game, like, it's actually not very long.
Cool.
I feel like once you play through one, you get a really good idea of what it's like. And yeah, I think you might get sucked into it. If it doesn't do anything for you at first, it's probably not going to do much for you later. But it's just a really interesting, quirky little game. It's a lot of fun.
Awesome. That's what I'm hoping for. The next title they had was Doraemon Story of Seasons, Friends of the Great Kingdom, coming out later this year, which I guess is just a licensed anime Story of Seasons.
Yeah, it's the second one. There was already one.
Oh. All right. Wasn't aware of that. Minecraft Legends, which we already talked about in the Xbox show last show, that's coming out in 2023. The art style for this one, I have to say, does work really well for the Switch. Like, it scales really well between them. Then they did a Dragon Quest Treasures coming out December 9th. I couldn't quite tell exactly the gameplay how this one was going to be.
So it was a scrapped version of Dragon Quest Monsters.
Okay.
They wanted to do Dragon Quest Monsters, but the ambition and like scope kind of exceeded. So they did something like it looks like a mixture of builders and monsters. It looks really interesting. I'm stoked to see how this plays. And it has
Okay.
Eric and Eric's sister from
11.
DQ11.
Yeah, I'm really excited for this one too.
Nice.
This is a Kelly game, a big Kelly game.
Little guys, little things, wandering around,
Do
having
you remember
some
this was
fun.
multiplayer or single player?
It looked like single player.
Okay. Well, this is December 9th of this year, so. Then they did a quick run through of some of the games. Like they did quick little videos. Of course, they showed Fire Emblem Warriors 3 Hopes, which is already out. No Man's Sky, which comes out October 7th. This is the other kind of big title. I'm curious to see how a port goes for it. They did clarify a little bit afterwards. It will be a single player experience at launch, but they didn't really verify if that was going to be an additional, like they were going to add in multiplayer to it later or just continue support for the updates. They weren't super clear on that one. It will be launching as a single player experience as an award-winning live service game. Switch Edition will continue to benefit from ongoing development post-launch, is their quote. I'm still going to mess around with it because I absolutely love this game, and they've done so much free stuff to update it that I've ended up buying it a few times because it still feels like I've come out cheaper than I should have.
I really need
So.
to play more of that game.
It's
Just
good.
that, there's
It kind of
so
makes
much,
me do that though, but it's
there's
really fun.
So there's so much in it it's so large that it's kind of overwhelming. So
Yeah, it's become a little bit more manageable because you can make portals where you can like go back to bases or bring your friends in so you could do multiplayer stuff. They've got multiplayer specific missions. There's a hub you can all meet up at that you can call into any solar system no matter where you are. So even if you're jumping galaxies, you can still connect with your friends a lot easier than it used to be. They showed a Plague's Tale Requiem cloud version coming October 18th. I don't care. It's a cloud version. It's not really a game to me.
Good night.
It's button mashing Netflix. It's about as effective. Yeah. I hate the cloud versions of games. It's stupid. Captain Velvet Meteor, The Jump Plus Dimensions coming out July 28th. No idea what that's actually about. Portal Companion Collection available now, and I probably will be breaking down and buying it this week. I know I had a whole discussion that online with people that, yeah, I do have the original ones, but I kind of just want to play it portably. I love the Portal games. It's a guilty pleasure. Don't care.
Now this I could
great.
actually see being fun on Switch.
I've seen it runs really good. Like all the stuff is there even during.
I hope so. It's an old ass game now.
Well, that engine was tricky for a lot of hardware to run. Like, look what happened with the PS3. Like, it was. It took them a while to fix that stuff.
Or Orange Box.
The Orange Box. I'm so glad I had that on 360 instead. But yeah, if you end up picking this up, we can co-op some Portal 2. Let me know.
Oh, I would never play it on Switch, but yeah,
it's only on the Switch.
The option is there. It's cool that like if you never played it before, it's cool that it's there.
Joey got my hopes up. Dash them immediately.
Sorry, I didn't mean to dash your dreams.
I'll stream it with you.
Maybe.
He's like,
on PC.
Damn it.
If it's on PC, I will.
Just bribing Joseph into playing
Portal 2 with you. It's got to be the Switch version. It's $20. Harvestalia coming out November 4th. It's a life simulator. This is the one I was thinking of from Square Enix. A life simulation RPG.
It looks pretty.
Yeah, I just played through like Rune Factory 4, and so looking at this after that, I was like, yeah, I'm into it. I'm digging it. It looks like a more aesthetic kind of version of it, maybe a little bit deeper in some of the mechanics. I don't know. I'm into it.
It looked like an action adventure RPG with farming. So I was like, I don't know how I feel about this.
The combat looked better than Rune Factory 5's did, but it's really difficult to gauge because the combat actually sort of looked like Final Fantasy Explorers, from what I can see.
Yeah,
I remember that game.
But this game is literally just like Rune. They're like this is like such an unabashed rip off of Rune Factory, dude. This is like they're like, yeah, okay, well, Rune Factory's there, and it just came out with a new one, and people are buying it. What if we did that and then put elements from Atelier in it? Okay, now we got Harvestella.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like I don't do a lot of like those like life sim kind of things. I don't. I do have Rune Factory on my Switch. I got it when it was on sale, like I don't even know, like two years ago. Not the newest one, but the one that came before it. Rune Factory 4 Special or whatever. It was on sale for like half price or something. Like
2 copies for some reason.
Yeah.
They sent me 2.
And I like it. It's just that there's a lot in these life sim RPGs. So I'm just like, that's my one worry in these types of games is that there's just so much to keep track of. And that I am overwhelmed. So
yeah, I mean, like you mentioned Final Fantasy Explorers. I wasn't a big fan of that one when I played it. The two that were closest to it that I did really enjoy back on the 3DS was like Ever Oasis and Fantasy Life. I played the
Fantasy
living
Life is
Jesus
Harvest
out of
Moon.
those.
Oh,
Yeah,
Fantasy
it's
Life is
Harvest
fun.
Moon.
Yeah, we had some
It's
fun with
literally
that.
the same developers. It's Harvest Moon.
I just know it had that perfect little hook to get me to go in there and just go explore for stuff to get back, come back, make things, and it just kept going back and forth. It was fun. And then the last two announcements they had, which everybody knew this was going to eventually happen. It just took longer than some people thought, but it still made Jeremy very happy.
I think we gaslit ourselves into thinking it wasn't going to happen.
I think we finally, just the way the world has been, finally be like, it can't get any better. Oh, cool, we're getting these. So Persona 5 Royal Edition is coming out October 21st, 2022 for the Switch, Xbox One, and PS5. So we are getting versions of that, which is great. And then Persona 3 Portable and Persona 4 Golden are coming at a later date on the Switch, and they are getting physical copies on there as well.
They finally released Persona 4 Golden from PlayStation Store Vita jail.
Well, the weird thing is, for some reason, that's the only one, or no, I think it was Portable maybe that wasn't getting a PlayStation
Velvet
port. It's
Room
kind of
theme plays slowly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've heard a lot of that. Every time during this trailer, every time I hear the music, I'm having flashbacks because Jeremy would be playing them and he would have that turned up every time. And I'm like, I've heard this music more than I ever should have.
Uppity jazz music.
I got to give him, it actually is really good music. So that's why we didn't complain. But I just heard it. I knew that battle theme more than I ever knew about the game itself because I would constantly hear it. But surprisingly, all three of these are getting physical releases on the Switch, so that's kind of cool.
Did they say physical? Really?
Yep, all three of them are getting physical Switch releases.
Oh yeah,
that's exciting.
Happy. Okay. I didn't know if that was a mocking woohoo with the finger thing, or okay, because you were just like woohoo, like whatever.
So okay, I have one major complaint about this.
Go for it.
And it's okay. I know why they didn't do Fez. I know why they didn't do Fez or a new remastered version of Persona 3 Fez. Because they lost the source code to it.
Oh, seriously?
And so all they had available was the P3 portable. I mean, they could reverse engineer it, but why is Atlas going to put effort into something?
Right.
So you get the version the version of Persona 3 where you get the data miner. Hell yeah, dude. We're going to play. That's why we play Persona, so we can date an 11-year-old boy. You love to see it. It was something that they added in.
I thought you meant like a data miner, like it was a computer tool or some item. I'm like, what weapon is that? And,
because
no, this got bad.
Atlas has decided that we were talking about this in another podcast actually, but around the time of Persona 3, Atlas learned what gay was, and they're like, oh, people are gay, okay, and then but they're like, oh, that's interesting. And then by the time Persona 4 came out, they're like, well, there's some gay people, but we're not ready to talk about that yet. And then Persona 5 comes out and they're like, no comment. And so like when Persona 3 came out, it started with just a male protagonist. So you could only date females because again, they hadn't heard of gay yet. And then they added a female main character in Persona 3 Portable. And when you're the female main character, you get to romance only the males. And one of them is our boy Ken, who sucks, but he's an 11-year-old boy. And I mean, granted, you're not holding hands with him. It's not like overt, but it's like pretty heavily like romantically slanted, and it's like oh boy. And it really sucks because Persona 3, I've actually never played Fez. I've only played the OG. And it really sucks because Persona 3 Portable added a lot of quality of life stuff. You could control your party members in battle. It sped up some things, added some balance tweaks. But it really sucks because Persona 3 is such a good ass game. And to see that be the only option is like so frustrating. So frustrating. So didn't want to spoil your fun. That's
no.
That's Atlas.
Yeah, I wasn't aware of that, so that's actually good to know. I don't know. Jeremy was still excited about Persona 3 Portable, but I think he also had some wonders of why they didn't release other versions of it. I didn't know if it was just because it was a quick and dirty. They already had the PSP one and moving on with it. Who knows? But yeah, that makes more sense if they lost the source code, because they have done that a few times for a couple different companies. I know Square was really bad about that too. Just oops, no source
Square,
code.
Yeah, I think my favorite moment in Square's history was losing. I think it was the source code to FF8, and then Eidos, who did the port, like basically like QRT them. We're like, oh, here you go. Here's the source code.
I remember
we did for
that.
you guys.
I remember that, and I remember laughing for like 10 minutes. And I was like,
good.
And I literally was like, Square, oh my God, I get it. Free up space on your computer, but good God, make sure things are backed up. Wow.
Just buy another hard drive, swap it out, put that one in reserve somewhere. It's amazing how many games decades later get found on a floppy drive or something, and like, oh yeah, here's this, by the way.
It's like, it's kind of like that set it and forget it kind of thing. Unplug it, set it somewhere on a shelf, in a supply closet, in a file cabinet.
Label it.
And then just leave it there. Like nothing's gonna happen to it. Wild.
Kelly, do you have something you're gonna say?
Oh, I was just gonna say, like, basic data hygiene. Like, it's fascinating. I'm bad at it. Like, I can't talk. If I owned the source code to anything, it most definitely would be
one
lost.
of your tabs.
One of my 500 like browser tabs, or like 10 years worth of deleted files. But like, I'm also not in charge of this.
Right.
Yeah.
I can tell them exactly what not to do.
All right. Well, with that lovely bit of information there, we will go ahead and end this show. I know we've been going for a little over 2 hours now, but I appreciate all of you being here. This has been fun catching up again. But before we go, we will go around and find out where we can find you online. So, Kelly, once again, we'll start with you. Where can we find you on the internet?
Yeah, you can find me on twitter.com, and my @ is @ Mississippi Science, or Mississippi SCI, actually.
All right. And Joey, where can we find you on the internet?
I just changed my @ actually. It's you can find me
I need to
Twitter.
get that so I can fix it.
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to throw a wrench in your.
No, I'm just glad you reminded me, because I would have kept the old one on the video.
I honestly almost forgot myself. But yeah, my new @ on Twitter is from Forest Green, FROM Forest Green. Also, you can find us on Cerulean Skies, which I think I launched this right when I was last on here, I think.
Yeah.
And if you just go to ceruleanskies.co, you can check us out there, join the Discord, join all the fun stuff that we have planned. We're trying to do some like monthly events, like all day stream events. We just did an event with Super RPG Friends, which we do every Thursday nights at 8 p.m. Where we raised $3,000 for cancer research this morning. That was
awesome, by the way.
Absolutely great. I was so happy to be a part of that.
Yeah, I'm sorry I didn't get a chance to watch it, but I'm like, I was so happy to hear about like how much you guys earned, like raised for that.
Yeah,
no, it was awesome. Through Generosity. I'm just trying to say their name how it's stylized, but it was really cool. I'm really glad to have, if we helped at all. Hopefully we did, but it was great. But yeah. So we're with Cerulean Skies. It's just like a hub and collective for content creation, media discussion, etc. You can make something, or you don't have to. Just hang out, come chat with us. hopefully Jeremy and Rachel will see you guys on some stuff there soon.
I've been on one thing so far, so
that's right. Yeah, you were on a couple of the streams. That's right.
I'm trying to get it worked out. I have a lot going on. My life is a little spastic.
Yep.
Yeah, I will be continuing to stream another nostalgia-based RPG called Eastward over the next few weeks as well on Cerulean Skies.
I think you've convinced me to go buy that tomorrow now that I know where it is.
It's so fun. The music is amazing. You'll love it. I know.
It looked great. The frying pan got me. All right. And Rachel, where can we find you on the internet?
You can find me on Twitter. And my @ is outrageous. That's OUT_RACHEOUS. And I post when I'm going live on Twitch there. And you can also find me on Instagram underneath the same username. I do have some content from MegaCon that I'm slowly posting. But like I said, hopefully now that my days off are different and I get off of work at a decent time, I'll get really back on a streaming schedule and a crafting and cosplay creation schedule. So my content will grow soon, I hope, in the next month or so.
Hell yeah.
Well, congrats again on that promotion, by the way.
Yeah, congratulations. Awesome.
Hell yeah.
Always good to hear. Yep. And I've been your host, Jeremy Powers. You can find me on Twitter at Zenspath, ZENSPATH, or you can talk to us directly about the stuff with the show and see when that's going live over at ZenspathPod. You can also join our Discord at bit.ly/ZenspathDiscord, where you can kind of nerd out with the rest of us, talking about all kinds of weird stuff, what games we're playing, a weird memes channel that Rachel started. That thing's been probably the most popular part of it.
Best channel in the Discord.
Talk about what collections we have, stuff like that. It's been a lot of fun. And I stream on occasion, not nearly as much as anybody else. I'm trying to get back into it a little bit, but that's over at twitch.tv/Zenspath. And this has been episode 70 of the Zenspath 4-Button Podcast, and we are out. Peace. I also support bodily autonomy for women, and the Supreme Court can go fuck their own ass.